A very good morning. It's Michaela Clarke in today for Greg Hughes on the 9 till noon show. I hope everyone is well this Tuesday morning. A lovely bank holiday weekend for us all. Our thoughts first and foremost, though, this morning are with the family of Anthony Gallagher, who tragically lost his life in a fatal crash in Letterkenny in the early hours of yesterday morning. We think of all his family and we remember Martin, his brother as well, who remains in a serious condition in hospital. So we think of all those affected by that sad tragedy yesterday and a sad day for Letterkenny. So we've lots to come on the show today. We'll be talking about that crash a little later. We'll also have the Community Garda slot as usual this Tuesday morning. But if you want to get in touch with the show, you can call us here on 074 91 25,000. You can text or WhatsApp us on 086 60 25,000. And as always, you can email comments@highlandradio.com. We're going to first have a look at the papers this morning, and I'm sure everyone has seen the pictures and the videos of Conor McGregor in the White House. Looking first to the Irish Daily Mail, he does not speak for us is the headline. So politicians and advocacy groups were united in their outrage at Donald Trump meeting Conor McGregor yesterday, with the Taoiseach declaring the MMA fighter does not speak for Ireland. McGregor was paraded around the White House on St Patrick's Day, with footage circulated on official social media accounts ahead of his surprise meeting with the US President. A picture from the Oval Office showed the fighter smiling with an arm around Mr Trump. When asked about the meeting, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt declared, "We couldn't think of a better guest to have with us on St Patrick's Day." I'm sure there are plenty of better guests. I know a lot of people here in Ireland could think of better people to represent us in the White House, not least, I suppose, the Taoiseach. Many believe should have been there on St Patrick's Day, but instead he had to visit Donald Trump last week, and it just made me think, seeing Conor McGregor speak, and he was saying, "I'm going to raise the issues that Irish people face here." It made me think, is he considering throwing his name into the hat for president? And just the way he was given the platform, you know, the same way other world leaders went there and they spoke at the podium and they went to the Oval Office, and just the way the White House paraded him. And the way he was speaking, I just thought he is setting this up now. We could see him announcing in the coming weeks, the coming months, that he's going to run for president. And I suppose seeing Donald Trump speaking about him, he kind of has that. He feels that he has that backing, but obviously that doesn't resonate then with the Irish people, and obviously they're the ones that vote to elect the president. So what's your view on this? What did you think of this? The parading of Conor McGregor in front of the media, in front of the world. Let me know, 086 60 25,000. Love to know what you think about this. The Irish Times also is running with the McGregor story on the front page. Remarks made by mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor about immigration during a visit to the White House have been criticised by Irish politicians as wrong and outrageous. McGregor's St Patrick's Day meeting with Donald Trump came after the US President last week identified the Dubliner as his favourite Irish person during a press conference in the Oval Office with Taoiseach Micheál Martin. Speaking to reporters at the White House yesterday, McGregor claimed Ireland is at the cusp of potentially losing its Irishness and that the illegal immigration racket is running ravage. Even when the Taoiseach Simon Harris, who was in New York, he kind of said, that, Conor McGregor, he didn't say he shouldn't be there, but he just was saying that, he doesn't represent the Irish people. And on the back of that then, Conor McGregor again, he said that you shouldn't talk down a fellow Irishman. So he is very determined, and he spoke about how he employs 200 people and that the Taoiseach doesn't employ any in Ireland. So that was his argument as to why he was given that platform, as to why he felt he should represent the Irish people at the White House on St Patrick's Day. The Irish Independent has the photo of Conor McGregor and Donald Trump on the front page there again. But it also has a story. The headline is, State spends €8 million fighting special needs cases in courts. The state has spent almost €8 million in 5 years defending legal cases taken by parents fighting for an assessment of needs for their children. More and more parents have been forced to take court action over the failure of the state to follow disability law and offer children crucial assessments within 6 months of their application. This has led to the cost to the taxpayer of such cases rising dramatically from an estimated €520,000 in 2021 to more than €3.3 million last year. The full report there is inside the paper. This begs the question, they're talking about the taxpayer. This is the cost to the taxpayer, but surely the state shouldn't have to spend this if they are meeting the needs of children with a disability and with a special need. The issue is that people are left on these waiting lists all the while. They're missing out on the crucial care and the vital early intervention that they need, and the undue stress then that it's causing as well to parents who know their child needs this assessment. They're waiting all the time to get the adequate care that they feel their child needs. And, the state then's arguing, we're spending so much, over €8 million on this. Have you been affected by this? Is your child one of those that's waiting for an assessment? Or maybe you have gone down the legal route as well. Let us know here. You can call 9125,000 or call or text. Not call or text. Text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 and email comments at highlandradio.com. In the Irish Sun today, Ireland's new gambling regulator is plotting a crackdown on adverts that fuel addiction or lure children into betting, declaring we will combat problematic gambling. In an exclusive interview with the Irish Sun, regulator Anne-Marie Caulfield also shoots down claims that a new daytime ban on betting ads will devastate Irish horse racing, as she believes that fearful TV stations will still be able to operate in Ireland. Earlier this month, Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan signed an executive order which officially kick-started the new Gambling Regulatory Authority of Ireland. The last government passed legislation that will see the authority ban gambling ads on TV and online between 5:30am and 9pm and outlaw online inducements such as free bets. That, I think, is so important. I was at a meeting of Donegal County Council a few years ago, and a presentation was made, and they were discussing, it wasn't like TV ads or betting ads, but they were discussing that children, like young children, 6 or 7, were falling into this gambling because they were playing games on, say, their parents' phone. They were playing games on, say, their iPad, and it was prompting them to buy more coins. So that then was leading, they were being forced, well, they weren't being forced. They were falling into this trap, and they were purchasing these additional coins. Now, obviously, then the parent is left to pick up the cost of that. But I can't remember off the top of my head the name of the group, but they were saying, that there needs to be some regulation around this as well, because this is starting so young then, and what in years to come will this lead to? Moving now to the Irish Daily Mirror, and this is something I suppose we're probably all guilty of. So, Ireland has come a long way in terms of recycling waste in recent years, but research has shown that many members of the public are still completely in the dark about how their efforts can be undone by putting the wrong thing in the wrong bin. A study by Repack to mark World Recycling Day found a third of people were unaware that just one dirty bottle, tin or container can contaminate a whole recycling bin. Contaminated items that end up in recycling bins, such as food soil containers, wet paper or mixed materials, can result in the rejection of entire loads. Zoe Kavanagh, CEO of Repack, said that you're to make sure items are clean, dry and loose before placing them in the recycling bin. This means simply rinsing the items and letting them drip dry before placing them loosely into the recycling bin. I was aware that, any like soiled items, say a tin, you don't rinse it out properly, that would contaminate the whole bin. But I didn't realise you had to let them dry. Maybe that's naivety on my behalf. But the last time I was on this show, there was we were discussing, where does this recycling go? My husband went to the dump and he had segregated the recycling stuff, and he was told just to put them all in the one bin, or the one skip in that case. So it was the question, are we doing the right thing? We're obviously not doing the right thing. We need to let them air dry in my case. But, are we doing this and they're all ending up in the one bin? Or is it the case of there's so many instances where loads are contaminated anyway that they just, put it all in the one bin anyway? But it's very hard to know. But we should make a concerted effort no matter what, and still rinse out and let them air dry. That will be my lesson learned today. Moving now finally to the Irish Daily Star. The headline is Patricia's Cancer Shock. Author Patricia Scanlon has revealed she has been diagnosed with breast cancer. She's about to release her new book, City Girls Forever, but last December she revealed that she was stopped in her tracks after a routine health check revealed that she had breast cancer. She told the RTE Guide it was Friday the 13th. It's just bad timing. It was a bit of a shock because even though my family history isn't great, you still don't think you're going to get it. She says, I had a shoulder replacement in February last year and had to cancel my breast check appointment as I couldn't put my arm behind my back for x-rays. So I went in November, got the results in December, and once I was in the system, it all happened quickly with surgery in January, followed by another procedure in early March. So she says then that she has to now undergo radiotherapy, but that just shows you that, you know, how important getting them mammograms are and, you know, early detection. That is key. That is a quick look at the papers. Any of those issues piqued your interest, let us know on 086 60 25,000 and we'll be back shortly.
Daily newspapers are courtesy of Cosgrove Centra and Diner, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
Huge savings on LG TVs at Irwin Expert Electrical. Get the stunning LG 65-inch was $679, now only $599. And it gets even better. Our deal of the year, the LG 50-inch NanoCell. Grab it now for only $399. Hurry, these offers won't last long. Irwin Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
Elevate your drive with the perfect combination of performance, bold design and innovation at the Cupra Elevate sales event, March 10th to the 22nd. Get more with SEAI grant boosters of up to €3,500 and exclusive free specification upgrades. Discover the all-new Cupra range, including petrol, diesel, all-electric and next-generation plug-in hybrid models. The Cupra Elevate sales event, now on. See our latest offers at DMG Cupra Donegal. Terms and conditions apply.
Your local Cupra dealer is DMG Motors, Clarke Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721 or visit dmgmotors.ie.
Did you know National Lottery players raise €4 million for good causes every week? Like Hand in Hand, where National Lottery Good Causes funding has helped them support more families of young people with cancer by providing essential relief, like household cleaning, laundry services, and family meal deliveries. Saving time for what matters most. You make this possible. And with entries now open for the Good Causes Awards 2025, you can build on the fantastic work you do in your community. Visit lottery.ie to apply. The National Lottery. Support responsibly. Average weekly figures based on 2023 financials.
New this week in Home Store and More. All garden water features are all half price. But better hurry, because when all our half-price garden water features are gone, they're gone. Also, all car accessories and all frying pans are still all half price. But when all our half-price car accessories and all our half-price frying pans are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
18 minutes past 9. It's Michaela Clarke in today for Greg Hughes on the 9 till noon show. Now, at the start of the show, we mentioned yesterday was a very sad day for Letterkenny. Investigations are continuing following a fatal crash yesterday morning in the town. Anthony Gallagher, who was in his 60s, tragically died after being struck by a car in the Lower Main Street area at around 3 a.m. We're joined now on Zoom by Councillor Jerry McMonigal, Cahirlock of the Letterkenny Milford Municipal District. A very sad time for Letterkenny, Jerry.
Yeah, good morning, Michaela. Yeah, a very sad time for the people of the town and particularly for the Gallagher family and close friends. It was terrible news to be waking up to on St. Patrick's morning, and our heart and indeed our thoughts and prayers are to go out the repose of Anthony's soul and for Martin, who is fighting for his life in Galway as we speak.
And Anthony was a very well-known man here locally in Letterkenny, and I suppose testament to that was the number of people who attended a vigil in the town last night.
Yeah, I was at the vigil myself, and it was, the very poignant scenes last night. A lot of the townsfolk from Ballymacool and the lower Main Street area, Old Town, were present last night, and I think it just shows you the high esteem that both brothers were held in, and the Gallagher family that was very well known. Two lovely lads, two guys who are very much for the community that they were born and reared in, and as I say, Anthony was the lollipop man there at the bottom of the back road, and I'm sure he'll be sorely missed by the children who he helped and assisted every day, and indeed by everyone who would have driven or walked past the back road junction there each morning and afternoon. They would have seen him there. But look, it was such a tragedy when you think that two brothers were out for a social evening and were within yards of their own home, and for this tragic accident to happen, and the outcome of Anthony losing his life and Martin fighting for his, it's very hard to take. But I have to commend the people of the town, and indeed Colin McDade, who organised the vigil last night. And I think that was just, people wanted to be together. It's just there was hushed tones there, but they were talking very fondly of the two brothers.
And we know yesterday should have been a great day of community spirit and day of celebration, that the St Patrick's Day parade was ultimately cancelled in Letterkenny, and it was the right move, given the sensitivity of this. But that community spirit now will hopefully help the Gallagher family now in the weeks and months ahead, and no doubt the prayers for Martin will help them through.
Yeah, look, and that was the message last night, and you could get, people are there to help and assist in every way they can. There will be a few harrowing days now in front of the family and the friends. Obviously have to be prepared for a funeral for Anthony and hope that Martin pulls through. But look, it's a tight-knit community in the foot of the town. I'm sure they'll all pull together, and the people of Letterkenny always do. And I have to commend the Chamber of Commerce as well for the decision they took and taking it so early on. I was talking to them early yesterday morning, and there was no problem in coming to that decision. It was the right thing to do, and they took the right decision. And I think everyone would have supported the decision that they took. And again, they are as much part of this community as anybody else, and they feel the pain that come out of this tragic incident, and all the families involved in this, they're in all our thoughts and prayers.
Councillor McMonigal, thanks for joining us there this morning. So that investigation is still continuing, and we will have more on that on the Community Garda slot, which will be coming up on the show after 10 o'clock. It was confirmed just this morning that a male in his teens who was arrested in connection with that investigation has since been released without charge. Gardaí say files will now be prepared for the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Garda Youth Diversion Bureau. Now, we were talking during the newspaper review about Conor McGregor's appearance at the White House, and we were asking what your views were on this. Was it the right thing? Should he have been there? Should he be representing the Irish people? I'm joined now on the line by Raymond. Good morning, Raymond.
Good morning, Michaela. How's the form?
Good, thank you. So what's your view on this, Raymond?
Michaela, I was on the internet yesterday evening or just early this morning, and I was sort of absolutely astounded. And I'm not necessarily a fan of Conor McGregor one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I only know a little bit about him. I know there's some ugly stuff in Dublin, but I don't pay much attention to him. But in the White House, when it's rare for somebody to be in the White House press room at the podium. Normally, you have to be a very senior U.S. government official talking specifically about some emergency crisis or something in here. And he was up there talking about Ireland and, the United States as being brothers.
Yeah.
And it was just astounding, that, sort of like, wait a second, what just happened here? And it seemed to me, and then later on, he was in, they had a photo of him in the Oval Office where Donald Trump's sitting at his desk, Conor McGregor got his arm wrapped around his shoulder, their fists, clenched together very warmly, big smiles on him, and it's like there's a, at least in my viewpoint, there is a very blunt message being sent out that, we're not sure about what's going on in Ireland in here. Like, for what I gathered, since Trump came in, the Irish embassy in Washington, D.C. has been diplomatically sort of begging for St. Patrick's Day. And they were basically being blown off, and then, it seems like they reluctantly agreed to it. And then this bowl of shamrocks affair, which I don't know, to me it's rather, and people may not be happy with this, but I think it's rather demeaning and almost borderline insulting in here, because like shamrock seems to mean very little in Ireland. And, but there seemed to be a message coming across. We didn't want Micheál Martin in the White House. Yes, we had to do it. And he sort of sat there and next to Trump.
But was that not the US president rather than the Irish people that was saying they didn't want Micheál Martin there on St. Patrick's Day?
Say that again. I misunderstood you there.
Yeah, it was Donald Trump has decided that he has chosen Conor McGregor to be there on St. Patrick's Day as opposed to Micheál Martin, who he was given the slot last week. So it's not the Irish people haven't decided.
I thought that was incredulous. Micheál Martin's there a week ago on something like the 12th, and he's there on St. Patrick's Day, and like there just seems to be a very blunt message being sent that Ireland is a woke, WAKE, a woke democracy, and I'm not dealing with people in government that are woke, that are woke anywhere. And then I don't know if you paid attention. There was a big Ireland Funds gala dinner, and with Enoch Burkin there, and
his
from
family,
what I gathered, the Trump administration is quite aware of what's going on previous to the dinner with Mr. Birkin here. And, they view this sort of woke, and I don't know, I sort of view it, and no one's really explained to me how this is sort of different from, if you will, child abuse grooming in here. And it's just, I don't know, but there seems to be a message going out because McGregor was warmly embraced in here. And White House press secretary, she speaks personally for the president. And the body language was incredibly warm in here. And Trump knows who McGregor is. And, I'm not a fan of mixed martial arts or anything like that. But
and
like,
Raymond,
there was
do you live in Ireland now currently?
Yeah, I've been back here 11, 12 years now.
So do you think the Irish people would support this? We've got a few comments in there saying it was an awful slap down to Micheál Martin by the White House to host Conor McGregor on St. Patrick's Day whilst relegating his visit to the 12th of March. Would have no time for Conor McGregor, but the man is 100% right. Governments definitely has Ireland destroyed, and he would speak for a lot of people. So there is more comments, I'll get to them, but you're saying that you do believe, Conor McGregor was right to be there. You believe that he should have been there yesterday as opposed to Micheál Martin.
Micheál Martin, like I was sort of surprised, or I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, that yesterday he and Simon Harris were whining about McGregor being in the White House. Well, like, boys and girls, where were you? I thought they went over there for St. Patrick's Day, and they're in Ireland on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but it depends on the White House, who the White House is allowing in different days. They can't, just turn up on St. Patrick's Day. They would have made the case, obviously that obviously St. Patrick's Day would have been their priority, but it's ultimately up to the White House who's the guest there on St. Patrick's Day.
Michaela, you're 110% correct. They did not want Micheál Martin there on St. Patrick's Day. He would have been there if they wanted him there. They wanted Conor McGregor or somebody else, and they made sure they had somebody else other than Micheál Martin there. So you're 100% correct on that. This is it's a huge wake-up call. look, after this happened or was happening, rest assured the Irish embassy personnel in Washington, D.C., and I'm not trying to be nasty in here, they all would have been wetting their nappies. This was a sea change in here. It was a blunt message being sent out to Micheál Martin and the whole crew in Washington and down in Dublin. You know, they're very careful, you know, and this was a huge slapdown for Micheál Martin. Like, the game's over. You can't keep doing what you've been doing in here. Our relationship is with the Irish people. It's not with Micheál Martin.
But do you believe this could have been handled differently? Say, whenever Donald Trump did sit down with Micheál Martin, that he could have relayed, we need to strengthen our relationship, we need to work differently than we have done before, rather than parade Conor McGregor out yesterday?
Well, I mean, certainly Donald Trump could have done that. He didn't do that. Trump is very forthright when he's unhappy in here, and he was being diplomatically unhappy with Micheál Martin in here. And so it's like Trump is not somebody that goes around saying, well, I'm going to give you a second and third chance if you want to kiss the ring. That's not his personality. Trump feels they stuck it to him during his first presidency, and that's not happening again. So I don't know. I think there's things that are coming down, if you will, the pike in here concerning Ireland and trade deficits and a lot of other stuff and the big pharmaceuticals and all the stuff that's going through Dublin, the money laundering and everything that's gone on for decades, and where everybody's looking, the other way in here. I think there's things happening. Like, as you know, Trump is not happy with the so-called European Union in here. And like Micheál Martin, he seems he only takes orders from Brussels in here to a large degree in here. He's not representing the Irish people, and he's certainly not representing the Irish in the United States in here. And, he can go to his big dinners and stuff, but that's not the Irish people, so I don't know. I think this was a huge slapdown for Micheál Martin and Simon Harris. And, Simon Harris was Taoiseach there for a year, primarily because of his profile on TikTok. And, Leo Varadkar, he rated his ministers on how prominent they were on social media. And, so I think there's a lot of change in the wind here, and it's just how quickly it comes down in here. But, this was a sea change in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Whether it was Conor McGregor or somebody else, they were sending a message out loud and clear. Things have changed in here, and we're not Joe Biden.
But I think the worrying thing is that, Conor McGregor was fined, a jury fined a civil case last November that he had sexually assaulted Nikita Hand in 2018. So I suppose you said there that it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be Conor McGregor, but I think it is the choice. It is that President Trump chose Conor McGregor. That is the worrying thing. And that, you talked about their diplomatic relations, but this is just zero diplomatic relations here.
Well, Trump, there's a point you push him and it gets to zero diplomatic relations. I mean, Trump is big into mixed martial arts. He loves that stuff. Okay, I'm not into it, but he is. He's been at multiple, fights or whatever over the years in here, and he sort of views himself as a mixed martial arts fighter. And Conor McGregor was the best in the world, or is the best in the world, and he and I are buddies or mates or whatever you want to say. So a lot of the Irish embassy people, they sort of got their heads in the sand like an ostrich. And they think because everything happened, this thing with the Shamrock Bowl all started with Ronald Reagan, and sadly he was suffering from early onset dementia, but it wasn't medically recorded or anything, and he was protected. And then in his second term, it became very obvious, that Ronald Reagan has an issue in here, a serious medical issue. So I don't know. I'm certainly no expert on things, but
do you agree? Do you agree, Raymond, with how Donald Trump has hit the ground running here in terms of, for instance, there, choosing Conor McGregor yesterday, but we've seen as well a couple of weeks ago Vladimir Zelensky in the Oval Office and how that played out in front of the media. Do you agree with how he is approaching things in his role?
My understanding on the Zelensky thing, that was deliberate in advance in here. He told his vice president, I want the American people to see who this Zelensky is. Not what they're reading and seeing on the television news or whatever. That was quite deliberate on his part in here. And I'm no fan of Zelensky. This war, was actually started by Joe Biden in 1998 when he was a U.S. senator, when he decided to break agreements.
But it's the approach of Donald Trump.
Well, sometimes you just have to be blunt, with a hatchet. And I think, Trump wants the war in Ukraine stopped, and it wasn't going to get stopped with the EU or NATO in here. And he's saying, I'm not playing the same game, not playing by your rules in here. You're going to play by my rules. And, Trump is savvy. He's hard to deal with, but it's you have to work with Trump, and you can't play games in here, and yes, it could have been somebody other than Conor McGregor, but the message has to get out there, and Trump's apparently very unhappy with Ireland. He's very unhappy with the European Union in here, and he's got his bunch of people in place here, and they're all unhappy with what's going on. And so, I don't know what you can say.
Well, Raymond, I'm sure we have plenty more of these times to come over the coming years. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for your take on that. There is lots of comments coming in. They're actually very mixed. I did think that a lot of people would have been against Conor McGregor presenting at the White House yesterday, but a lot of people are saying that they don't support Conor McGregor, but what he is saying. So a few of your comments, your president invited him. They're talking obviously about US President Donald Trump. Says it all really. Conor McGregor was invited to the White House and what he said was true. The Irish government need to get over themselves. Trump and McGregor, birds of a feather comes to mind. Micheál Martin does not represent the real people of Ireland. Micheál Martin represents the foreign invasion of Ireland. While I would be no fan of Conor McGregor's, what he said about Ireland being overrun is true. Conor McGregor has as much right to be in the White House as Micheál Martin. It's up to Donald Trump who he wants in the building. At least Conor says things as they are. He doesn't have to lie about anything, and I hope he runs for president. Conor is the man. Yeah, I did say earlier that that's what did strike me yesterday is he planning to run for president? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Then the argument is that he can't, it's ultimately the government that makes some decisions. The president signs bills into law, but, he wouldn't have as much power as the government to decide on different regulations. So would he make a difference, first of all, if he got elected as president? Another comment, Conor McGregor does not represent the vast majority of Irish people. He's an embarrassment and is deluded to think he speaks on behalf of the country. However, he does have a big following who blindly support him no matter what he does, a bit like Donald Trump himself. The two have a lot in common. History will judge them both as clowns, is a comment there from that listener. We've loads more comments in. We'll get to them after this short break.
Tina Turner. That is mine.
Looking for the perfect Mother's Day gift? Want to show someone that you think they're simply the best? Or do you have a proud Mary you want to spoil? West End mega hit Tina, the Tina Turner musical, is coming to Boardgash Energy Theatre, Dublin as part of its first ever Ireland tour. Join Highland Radio on Friday the 6th of June for an unforgettable trip. Set to a soundtrack of Tina's greatest hits, this inspirational and exhilarating story celebrates the life of the Queen of Rock and Roll. Trip includes luxury coach travel, overnight stay at the 4-star City North Hotel on a bed and breakfast basis, and ticket to the show. Contact us today on 9125000 or check out the outlet on highlandradio.com to book your place now.
Let's stay in and watch a film.
Don't forget to switch the lights off.
Will you pop the kettle on? It's freezing.
Switching things on and off this winter and searching for ways to save? Here's a switch that can really help. Sign up to one of our great value smart meter plans and save up to 30%. Visit electricireland.ie. EAB €1,199 based on 12-month home electric plus SST saver electricity. Discounted unit rates with online billing, direct debit and VAT. Smart meter required. Subject to change. T's and C's apply.
The Nissan Juke is now available as a hybrid with an outrageously stylish exterior and a smooth, quiet drive. But that's not all. Buy a 251 Nissan Juke Hybrid and we'll replace it with a 261 Nissan Juke Hybrid for free. Don't miss out. This extraordinary offer is available for a very limited time. For details about this and all our 251 offers, contact your local Nissan dealer or visit nissan.ie. Nissan. Defy ordinary. Terms and conditions apply.
Milford Tiles, Milford Retail Park. Tiles, bathware and wood flooring. The best quality and value in the Northwest. Fully stocked and ready to go. Fitters and delivery available. 10% off for Mike affected customers. Don't forget to ask about our 5-day bathroom fit out. Call Milford Tiles on 083 091 0707.
Keeling's blueberries are available now. Let the fun begin. Pick up a punnet of Keeling's blueberries in store today. Tasty, juicy, feel-good fruit. Love that Keeling's feeling.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Welcome back to the 9 till noon show. I'm joined now on the line by Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Michaela. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. So you were out enjoying celebrations in Donegal over the weekend, but you were a bit concerned.
I'm very concerned, I have to be honest. Very concerned considering the county we're living in just now and the situation that's happening. I was at a parade, and through the parade came a twin cam and a Lexus, and both cars were driven by children under the age of 14.
Right.
And I personally think this is not something that we need in this county or in this country to be encouraged. I think this is something that parenting needs to be tightened up on. It's not that long ago since we had a tractor run, and the Gardaí stopped the tractor run because there were 12-year-olds driving tractors.
Yeah, I remember that discussion, and there was kind of, a bit of awareness around it, and that, the dangers of,
100%.
the child not being able to reach the pedal, and what if something happened, the steering gave way.
These two kids weren't wearing seatbelts. And I would say the very reason for not wearing seatbelts was that very fact. They probably wouldn't have reached the pedals as they were sitting back in the seats where they should be. But regardless of that, the guards were on the street. There were guards there. And in my opinion, on a street that was, I would say, an average of 2,000 people there, majority of them are children. And there were wee quads in front of them with wee smaller kids on wee small quads. And if anything would have went wrong, number one, right, that's like, but never mind anything going wrong, it's the encouragement of what's happening. I always did look at it the last 2 weekends in a row, or within the last 3 weekends, of what's happened in our country due to this carry on with cars and reckless driving and so on and so forth. Any parent that would encourage that, to me, is not parenting. I think I know there'll be a lot of controversial with this, but I think it's not parenting. The guard should have stopped that immediately in front of everybody. To me, it was like driving through the village with their fingers up at the guards, basically saying, we don't have respect for you. That's what I seen. I didn't see something that was cool. I just seen two cars that, first of all, I think that whenever the guards could be doing more social media policing, because the amount of young people that are posting the videos of them.
Was there an adult or anything in the car with them, Joe, or was just the children themselves?
I didn't see any adults. I seen loads of other wee kids sitting on with them.
Right. Well, that's dangerous. It's not just themselves and the bystanders they're putting in danger.
No. How did the organisers allow that to happen? How did the parade organisers? Are they not seeing what's happening in our county? Are they not seeing what's going on around our country with young road deaths? How are they allowing stuff? I mean, what's that encouragement for young Wayne standing on at the parade going, look, mammy, that wee fella's only the next class above me or the class below me. Look, mammy, why can I not drive a kid? Setting a dangerous precedent. And I suppose then
the argument then could have been on the other side. They're going at a slow speed, that they would hope that there'd be no danger.
Yeah, listen, people can argue that all the time. It's what it's encouraging. It's what they're encouraging. As far as I'm concerned, I know that's going to sound horrible, but there's no point in parents standing over their coffins crying when their child's dead because they've encouraged something that's wrong. And I'm sorry, it sounds as harsh as what it is, but at the end of the day, this is what people need to be saying. This is what parents need to be doing. Parents can do a lot more to protect their children. What's the point in giving birth to a child, rearing them till they're 17 and then not caring where they are or whose care they're in at night when they go out the door? What's the point? There's no point in rearing a child for them to walk out the door in the evening time and not care where they are or what care they're in or what they're up to. There's no point in rearing a child if you're not going to care for them until, a parent's job is to care for the child all the way through. And I know, yes, there are a lot of parents' hearts broke. And I know that, definitely. I've been in a situation where I've seen parents' hearts are broke. Well, that's up to you as a parent to pick up the phone and say, listen, guards, I have a son here. He's not listening to anything I'm telling him. He's out in the car. She's neither tax insurance, but he'll not listen to me. He'll not listen to his dad. He does whatever he wants. Phone the guards, because I think I would rather the guards coming to my door to speak to my child than coming to knock on my door to say my child's dead.
Yeah, I know that's...
And I know it's as blunt as it sounds. But and another wee thing is this is going to cause a lot of controversial. See all these there should be no such thing as an event without a driver's license and a vehicle, no matter what it is. You go up to Letterkenny too in the drifting zone.
We do know some of them events are organised, but obviously on the other hand there are ones that are illegal, and I suppose that's what you're speaking about, Joe, that maybe we do need greater regulations or more,
100%. Our regulations need to be changed. These organised events should not have children in these cars encouraging this behaviour of donutting and stuff like that. Nobody should be allowed in a vehicle, no matter whether it's an organised event or what type of event it is, without a driver's licence. As simple as that. If they're not the age that they can reach pedals, and that they never mind reaching pedals, if they're not in the age to be legally able to handle a vehicle and being taught how to drive properly, should not, no matter what the event is, should not be in a vehicle, no matter what.
Well, Joe, stay there. We're joined as well on the line by Sarah. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
So you as well witnessed something similar over the weekend?
Yeah, exact same. I was at the same place that man was, and I couldn't believe what we were seeing.
Yeah.
It was just,
And
plus that young fella had young ones on the car with him. That was younger than him again.
Yeah, it's frightening. And Joe had mentioned there, I think you witnessed it as well, there was a young boy in a quad as well.
Yeah, if he was about 9, 10, that would have been the height of it. And he had a little filler at the back with a young fella, and it was like it was a stuffed cow, like it wasn't a real cow. But, no.
But
sorry.
We know the dangers of quads as well. They're so dangerous, even when they're used, in the appropriate settings that they should be used. They're just so 100%. Dangerous. Never mind a young child in the middle of a parade in the street lined with bystanders. Was it a similar sense from all spectators there, Sarah?
Yeah, there were. There was quite a few now in my line, and when the cars was coming up, you didn't really notice, and they went up and turned. As when they were coming back down, they were right beside us. Then when they turned to come back down again, I looked at the daughter and I said, oh my goodness, that's just a young fella.
Yeah.
If he was 12, 13, would have been the height of it. And he had younger ones in the car.
Yeah, it's frightening.
But he wasn't the only one. There was a few cars now that was driven by young ones.
Yeah. And I suppose Joe was making the point there that, something needs to be done now before it is too late for these young people.
100%.
They're getting that appetite for being in a big car, which is massive. If they're 12 or 13, any size of car is huge to them.
Yeah, I totally agree with him. With the guards, as a parent, that happened to me years ago when my young fella was growing up. They had got a car and they'd taken it out, and they had been stopped by the guards that night, and the guards came to my home. And it wasn't taxing, sure, it was a banger. They were doing and you know what? He never looked at a car after it.
Yeah.
He got that big of a scare with being caught by the guard. Having his mates like they're only about 14, 15, after that. And he never looked at a car again until he was growing up and had his license and his test.
Yeah.
So, I do agree with Joe, like the maybe the scare tactic.
That's it.
But then again, young ones, there's an awful lot of peer pressure as well.
Yeah.
You know, they think they just want to grow up so quickly. They don't realise the dangers. They really don't. And that's so sad.
And Joe, that's what you were saying, you know, once one child would see this, you know, Sarah had mentioned there, the peer pressure, they're feeling that, not even the peer pressure, but that this is okay to do.
Yeah.
You see, this is my issue. Yeah, 100%. The wee kids there, as I said, I had people there, and they were looking at me going, they were looking up at their parents and going, "Oh, mum, he's in my class above me. Why am I not allowed to drive the car?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. But what I'm trying to, Michaela, please, my point I'm trying to get across here is, for a parent, if you don't know what your child's doing at night, 9 times out of 10, they're out on the roads then whenever they get to a certain age. And the thing is there's not 2 people in the car. The car's full of their wee friends.
And it's
the
oncoming vehicles or the pedestrians that are in danger too.
Never mind the fact that they could kill everybody in that car, right? But you're 100%. Meet some poor carer coming from her work. Meet some family coming from the cinema. Meet some creator doing something like, seriously, parents. Parents could be doing far, far more to prevent these things from happening. And I don't care. I know it's as harsh as it sounds, but something needs to be done. But for an organised event on a St. Patrick's Day, first of all, nothing to do with St. Patrick driving these cars through town, and I just don't agree with it. I don't see the logic or the point to it, and what's it encouraging except future young deaths. That's all I see. God forgive me for saying it, but that's all I seen yesterday was.
Totally agree with you, Joe. Totally agree.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked in the next couple. God forgive us for saying it. I hope I'm wrong. I wouldn't be shocked in the next couple of years to hear of one of those 2 young fellas, because that's what the parents have encouraged.
And Sarah, whenever the guards called to your house, you said that it did scare your son. I think it was, you said.
Yeah.
So, were you grateful then that incident did happen?
Suppose in a way, yeah. Because it kind of just taught him a lesson that wasn't acceptable. And I am going back 30-odd year. 25.
Yeah.
Year. So, yeah.
Sarah's 100%. Sarah, you're 100% right as far as the peer pressure as well. And the thing is, I was trying to say, there's a lot of guarding could be done on social media. You see these cars on social media doing the donuts and all that out in public roads and public. In my opinion, what should happen in that situation is the guards should be lifting these cars, and see the fact that there's so much of this on social media. The guards should be taking the car and crushing it on social media. Crush the car on social media, post it up and say, this is how tough and how lenient we are, not having this more on our public safety roads. We're crushing the cars. You as parents are not controlling this. These cars are being crushed no matter how much they've spent on it. This car is going to be crushed, and post it on social media to prove, as Gardaí, we're on a stand with us. We're not going to be burying many more of our young people due to stupidity.
But I suppose then that argument boils back to, do we have enough Garda resources on the ground to be monitoring this social media? There was a policing operation over the weekend to clamp down on drink and drug driving. So it possibly is a resources issue, because I know we did have the conversation, and I can't remember the outcome. You mentioned, Joe, earlier about the tractors being driven by young people.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, if you don't mind, Sarah, if I come in first, I totally get what you're saying here. Yeah, as far as the policing is concerned. Now, we've lowered our speed limits on our wee national roads and stuff like that there, right? Oh my God, I can't figure my life out of that. And I'll tell you the reason why I can't figure my head around that is because the only people that's affecting, and the only people that are getting caught with speed vans and getting caught with speed cameras, as a parent rushing for a football practice or a doctor's appointment or a hospital appointment, or somebody maybe doing 2 or 3 kilometres over, and that's who the speed van are getting. Yes, don't get me wrong, they're catching some of the big idiots too, but at the end of the day, they're not catching enough of that. Do you know why? Because after 6 o'clock, there's neither a guard nor a speed van to be seen up and down the county of Donegal, and that's when our roads come alive. That's when in front of our chapels, in front of our graveyards, in front of all our wee memorial places, where there's a big wide space out in our beautiful Wild Atlantic Way roads, where there's lovely scenic parking places, is destroyed with tyre marks from donutting. Is there a guard to be seen? No. Is there a speed van to be seen? No. That's when our policing and our policing and our speed vans are all in and tucked in their bed at 6 o'clock, and that's when this carry-on is going on.
Well, we do know, Joe, in fairness, that there are drivers caught. You do see it in the Garda Donegal Facebook page. Motorists caught speeding at night. So I don't know if they're all tucked up in bed now after 6.
No, I'm just angry for the fact that what I'm watching in terms of over the last number of weekends, the circumstance of burying young people. I know it's wrong. We shouldn't bury anybody. Two brothers, may they rest in peace, out for a wee drink together, have lost their lives.
No, well, only one on at the moment.
No, they're both.
Well, we haven't got that confirmed yet, Joe.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. But the bottom line is this is what my point is. This needs to stop. There needs to be more done. Parents need to do more. That's all I'm trying to say. Not encouraging it. It needs to be done. Organised events shouldn't have anybody and a child or in a car seat unless they're old enough to own a driver's license.
Yeah. Totally agree, Joe.
Joe and Sarah, thanks so much.
No, thank you
you did
much,
raise a very important issue there. We've loads of comments coming in relation to that. I do remember, I'll try and look it up during the news at 10, but we did have a conversation probably a few years ago now, maybe before COVID or just after, about underage people driving tractors, and it was the same thing, the dangers of should the brakes fail on a tractor. We've loads of comments coming in about that. We'll probably get to them after 10 o'clock. The news is coming up now shortly.
This year the government will launch a new national policy to reduce suicide. Your views will play a key role in shaping this new policy. As part of a public consultation, the Department of Health is inviting members of the public and relevant groups and organisations to share their opinions on suicide reduction in Ireland, particularly those with lived or living experience of suicide. Every life lost to suicide is one too many. You can help by sharing your views at gov.ie/suicide reduction. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Building, renovating or upgrading your home? The Inishowen Co-op Home Build event is back on March 22nd with a new edition for 2025, the Energy Efficiency Hub. Meet over 50 exhibitors showcasing the latest in retrofitting, solar panels, construction, windows, doors, paints, flooring and more. Join us Saturday, March 22nd at the Inishowen Gateway Hotel, Buncrana from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for expert talks, virtual reality home design and photo with the Dulux dog. Check out Facebook for details. See you there.
Ensure the safety of your team with SafeTech. We have part-funded courses in first aid, people moving and handling, confined spaces, food hygiene, quad bikes, fire warden, iPath MUPS, electrofusion, welding and machinery cards for Ireland and UK sites. Also delivering online courses like utilities, water hygiene and construction supervisors. SafeTech can deliver group training at your business premises. To find out more, contact safetech.ie today.
Get the job done with the right tools or equipment from Watson Hire in Letterkenny. From power tools to hand tools and diggers to dumpers, you'll find all you need at Watson's. Scissor lifts, generators, power washers, whatever you need to get the job done. For a fast and reliable hire service, contact Watson Hire Lisnain in Letterkenny on 9167777 or see watsonhire.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Discover trending new styles each week in fashion, footwear, accessories, homeware and more. Visit us to explore the latest arrivals in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
Today's weather staying mainly dry. Sunshine will develop through the day with highest temperatures of 7 to 10 degrees. We'll be back after the news at 10 o'clock.
Get ready for the show of a lifetime. Adrian Knight, one of Ireland's top comedy hypnotists, is coming to the Villa Rose Hotel Ballybuffet on March 28th. With over 15 years of experience, Adrian brings non-stop laughter with fast-paced humour and audience participation. Tickets only €25. Book online at villarose.ie.
Running a business isn't easy, but accessing support should be. The new National Enterprise Hub is the single source for all government support for your business. With over 180 supports in one place, it's easier than ever to find grants, advice, training and more. And don't worry about not knowing what you need. Our helpful team will guide you every step of the way. Visit neh.gov.ie to learn how we can help. The National Enterprise Hub. Support starts here, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Remember a loved one with a personalised memorial, acknowledgement or wallet cards from BizPrint using your choice of wording and background. Call in and speak to Catherine at BizPrint, Port Road, Letterkenny, or call 91 779 55.
If you're looking for a competitive insurance quote, contact Hickey, Clarke and Langan Insurance Brokers in Letterkenny. Home, car or van insurance, farm, commercial or public liability insurance. They compare quotes from all the leading insurers so you get a great price. Call Hickey, Clarke and Langan on 91 26688 or call into the office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey, Clarke and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey, Clarke and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Applications are now open for the 2025 National Lottery Good Causes Award. We spoke to Emma Monaghan, Communications Executive from the National Lottery, about the awards which celebrate the inspiring work and achievements of projects, clubs and individuals from all over Ireland.
The Good Causes Awards are open to any individual, club, charity, voluntary organisation or project that has received National Lottery funding in the past 5 years. Nearly 30 cents in every €1 spent on all National Lottery games goes back to good causes. So if you're unsure as to whether you've received National Lottery funding in the past, you can simply log on to lottery.ie/Good Causes Awards. Here you can check your eligibility simply by typing in your organisation's name in the search bar. And if you are eligible, you'll find all details and a link to enter.
Check your eligibility and enter today at lottery.ie/Good Causes Awards. The National Lottery. Support responsibly.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's just gone 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. A male in his teens arrested in connection with a fatal collision on Letterkenny's Lower Main Street has been released without charge. Gardaí say files are being prepared for the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Garda Youth Division Bureau. Almost 200 people attended a vigil last night at the scene of the collision, which left one local man dead and his brother critically ill in hospital. The two, both men in their 60s, were struck by a car as they walked home at around 3 o'clock yesterday morning. Anthony Gallagher passed away at Letterkenny University Hospital. His brother Martin was airlifted to Galway. A North Inishowen councillor is again calling on Uisce Éireann to replace 2 kilometres of water main between Mendoran and Clonmany after another significant burst on the trunk main supplying customers in the area. Areas affected by the burst yesterday and again today include Dunaff, Urris, Gortfad, Clonmany and Ballyliffin, with Uisce Éireann hoping the necessary repairs can be completed by midday today. In excess of 1,500 properties are affected. Councillor McDermott says this is happening far too frequently.
You've only to drive the road from Clonmany up as far as Mendoran and you'll see for yourself how many times the road has been dug up where the pipe has been burst. That's just not acceptable, particularly when it's the one section that keeps giving the bother all the time. It should be replaced at this stage, and I think that Irish Water really need to step up to the mark here now and listen to our concerns and prioritise funding for that bit of trunk main. It's around 2 kilometres that would really help drastically the water services here in North Inishowen.
And there's more from Councillor Martin McDermott on our website, highlandradio.com. Almost a quarter of the country's Garda stations had fewer Gardaí at the end of 2024 than they had the previous year. An Irish Independent report has found 1 in 10 stations don't have a designated Garda on hand. Official figures from the Department of Justice show 129 of the 567 stations across the country recorded a reduction in the number of Gardaí assigned to them last year. Cavan Town saw the largest decrease with 31 less Gardaí. Ballyshannon was 4th on that list with a fall of 23. There are 6 Garda stations in Donegal without any assigned Gardaí. That's the 3rd highest figure in the country, after Cork and Tipperary. Donegal TD Charles Ward says he is a very different politician now to the man that was elected for the 100% Redress Party in November. Deputy Ward, who sits in a technical group with People Before Profit and fellow independents, including Galway TD Catherine Connolly, says he is more confident and is learning how to phrase questions, particularly in exchanges with Taoiseach Micheál Martin. Deputy Ward says the Taoiseach and Housing Minister James Browne know they have a challenge on their hands because he'll be questioning them and holding them to account at every turn.
When I'm speaking with Micheál Martin, he is on his game. And if he's on his toes and he's having to take it seriously, then it's a good thing. With James Browne, it'll be the same. I will have interactions with James Browne over the next few months and years, and he has to deliver for Donegal. He's no choice, and I'm going to hold him accountable.
A 48-year-old man has been charged with offences including theft, burglary with intent to steal and being concerned in an offer to supply Class A, B and C controlled drugs. He's due before Derry Magistrates Court today. The arrest and subsequent charges followed 2 reports of thefts in the city on Sunday. 33% of Irish people are unaware that putting a contaminated item into a recycling bin can completely compromise the entire load. Repack is urging consumers on World Recycling Day today to simply follow the clean, dry and loose rule. Zoe Kavanagh, the CEO of Repack, says waste is actually a resource, provided it's not contaminated.
It's a great reminder to all of us here in Ireland about preserving important resources, and it's a reminder that waste is actually a resource. And what we're really focused on at Repack is ensuring that the packaging waste, which is a great opportunity to convert into a resource, is placed clean, dry and loose in the recycling bin.
Staying mainly dry today after a cloudy start. Better sunshine will develop right through the day. Top temperatures of 7 to 10 degrees Celsius. Moderate to fresh east to southeast winds easing later. Tonight it'll be dry, cold and mostly clear. Some frost with lowest temperatures of -1 to +1 degree Celsius in light easterly breezes. A few mist and fog patches may also develop. Staying dry and mostly sunny tomorrow Wednesday. Top temperatures 11 or 12. Again, mostly light easterly breezes. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with headlines at 11 o'clock. Check all of the latest news on our website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning. The obituary notices for this Tuesday morning, the 18th of March. The death has taken place of Michael Gerard Rorty, Knockastollar, Bunbeg. His remains will repose at his sister Kathleen's residence in Knockastollar today from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. and again tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Rosary nightly at 8. House private, please, on the morning of the funeral. The funeral mass will take place in St Mary's Church, Derrybeg, on Thursday morning at 11, with burial afterwards in Maharagallen Cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of desired to Cree Heart and Stroke Foundation, care of any family member or Kieran Rorty, funeral director. The funeral mass can be viewed live on Kieran Rorty, funeral director's Facebook page. The death has occurred in Manhattan, New York, of Jenna Shovlin, The Rock, Clogher West, Port New. Jenna's remains will repose at the family home from 12 noon today until removal on Friday morning to St Connell's Church, Kilclooney, for funeral mass at 12 noon, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Rosary nightly at 9. Family flowers only, please. Donations if desired to the Kevin Bell Repatriation Fund and the Charlie Bennett Fund, care of any family member or McCabe funeral directors. A shuttle bus service will be in operation from the Dolman Centre, Kilclooney and Narn Beach Car Park from 5 p.m. daily. The funeral mass will be streamed live on the McCabe's funeral director's Facebook page. The death has taken place of Eileen Powell, 6 Bracken Lee, Mountaintop, Letterkenny, formerly of Garton Church Hill, reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning to St Columbus Church, Glendone, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in Garton Cemetery. Family time only, please, from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. Family flowers, please. Donations in lieu of flowers to the Donegal Hospice or the Short Stay Medical Ward, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Charlie McLafferty, funeral director. The death has taken place of Patsy O'Donnell, Gorchy North, Ballindrate, Lifford, reposing at his home. Funeral from there tomorrow at 11:20 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlock, Lifford at 12 noon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The house is strictly private, please, to family and very close friends. The Requiem Mass can be viewed via the parish webcam. And the death has taken place of Seamus Doherty, Lunya Derry Beg, formerly of Corveen, Gweedore. House strictly private, please. Funeral Mass in St Mary's Church, Derry Beg, this morning at 11, followed by interment in Maharagallen Cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Kieran Rorty, Funeral Director. The funeral mass can be viewed on Kieran Rorty, Funeral Director's Facebook page. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Ladies, always discreet, has something to say. If your bladder leaks or not, always remember to squeeze the day. Keep your pelvic floor stronger for longer, just by squeezing on through the day. Just lift and hold, just lift and hold, to always squeeze the day. When you need protection, come what may, always discreet will lock those leaks away.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Now, welcome back to the 9 till noon show. It's Michaela Clarke in today for Greg Hughes. We're going to look at a few of your comments now. Just before the news at 10, we were talking to Joe and Sarah. They were both at a parade over the weekend, and they were raising concerns about the number of young children under the legal driving age driving cars, and a young child driving a quad as well. A good few of you have been in touch on that particular topic. Hi Michaela, RE the issue of driving. My husband and my children were hit by a car last year on the day after St Patrick's Day. Thankfully they weren't hurt, but the Gardaí attended the scene but did not breathalyse the driver of the other car. The Gardaí are not doing their jobs, as Joe said. After 6 p.m. they are nowhere to be seen, and so much for the extra Garda presence on the road all weekend. I was all over the county during the weekend and they were nowhere to be seen. Absolute joke. Joe is 100% correct. These tractor runs have got out of hand. 12 to 15-year-olds in charge of these big powerful machines, and a lot of them on the road every day. Where is the road policing unit and what are they going to do about it? Another listener says, I think that's the same parade I attended with my grandchildren. I thought the parade was well supervised, and I was explaining to my grandchildren about the fact that safety equipment and respect for motor vehicles and potential danger must be considered at all times. I enjoyed the parade and I always discuss safety issues and vehicle behaviour all the time. Well said, Joe and Sarah. I couldn't have expressed it better myself. Totally irresponsible. That comes in from Mary at Acart. I agree with Joe 100%. I was at a parade as well, and the same thing was happening. Young children shouldn't be driving tractors or quads. We did contact the Gardaí in relation to this, and their response is as follows. This caller should contact Milford Garda Station and ask to speak with a sergeant to raise any concerns they may have or to make a complaint. The number for Milford Garda Station is 074 9153060. A few more comments. The guards are only interested in catching drivers doing 66 at the end of the dual carriageway. Another says it's the parents' responsibility to rear their children as children, not friends. Children should not be allowed to be behind the wheel of a car. I agree with that man 100%. Another says one very young guy was taking off a tractor when it was safe to pull him in. The child was only 12 or 13. Gardaí were policing. It just might not have been safe to intercept while people were driving on the main street, but the Gardaí were watching and doing the right thing. There's loads of you that have been in touch on this very important issue. I suppose Joe was just saying, you know, in relation to kind of early intervention, if children are being encouraged to do this now, you know, what will be the case further down the line. Another listener says about the underage in parades, if these guys and girls don't learn to drive well, where will we get the future racing drivers, drifters, extreme sports people? Most Formula 1 drivers started racing at 3 years of age. I don't know. That is obviously in a controlled environment. You know, they start karting, and, you know, they wear helmets, they've all the safety gear on them, and it's such a controlled environment and they can only go at a certain speed. So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't agree that we should be encouraging people to, learn to drive so young. I'm a huge Formula 1 fan, so I, for one, wouldn't be discouraging anybody from that, but definitely not at 3 years of age and not out on the open roads, in a controlled environment, yes, where all safety precautions are taken. It's still against the rules of the road for an under 17 to be behind the wheel of a car. It doesn't matter if the cars are going slow or not. How was this allowed? Our town is the same. Young children at the ages of 9 to 13 driving cars and buggies, no respect. There was a young fella driving a tractor yesterday in our parade and he certainly wasn't 16. Another listener says, "Hi Michaela, just in response to underage driving at St Patrick's Day parades, this has been a problem for years, not just now. I was at a parade when I was a child and was hit by a 12-year-old driving a motorbike. He lost control of the bike and was too young to rectify it. I was standing behind the barricades but still suffered significant injuries to which I still struggle with years later." That is exactly the concerns that people are raising, and precautions were in place, there was barriers erected, but you just don't know what's going to happen to a vehicle, when something on it's going to fail or should somebody run out in front of them. But that per person years on are still suffering as a result of that. Well done, Highland. This needs to be talked about. Parents need to take responsibility. It's as simple as that. And agree with that man. That was Joe. 100%. I said the very same thing. Lots of you coming in as well on the topic of Conor McGregor in the White House yesterday. Morning, Highland. Well done to Conor McGregor for letting the world know what's going on in Ireland. Zero accountability for taxpayers' money. The Burke family being treated appallingly, immigration out of control and misleading the public on housing before the election. Thank you. Conor McGregor is 100% correct. This is not about Conor McGregor, nor do I respect him. It's about the subject matter he is talking about. The government have sold this country out. They have now finally admitted they have accepted into our country thousands of economic migrants unvetted. Of course, some are genuinely seeking asylum also. Another listener says, not a fan of Conor McGregor, however, he was 100% correct in what he said at the White House. The Irish government are ignoring the Irish people and their needs. They are giving millions to Ukraine while our health system crumbles. Homelessness and the housing crisis is at its worst, and they are just ignoring it. Houses are about to fall down in Donegal and they are deluded, thinking they have a great scheme in place now. Another says, Conor McGregor represents my views far more than the government of Ireland. What did Conor say in the White House that wasn't true? The media can follow a narrative that they're forced to follow and bury their head in the sand, but the Irish people are sick of it. I don't think it's about what he said. I think it's about Conor McGregor being chosen to represent Ireland there on St Patrick's Day, and he talked about America being Ireland's big sibling, but I suppose a lot of people wouldn't agree with how Trump is operating and the policies he's implementing currently. We've seen over the weekend as well the people being deported to El Salvador. Obviously there does need to be a crackdown on that, but he's so forceful in his policies and his anti-immigration, and I just think that Ireland doesn't align with America as closely as what Conor McGregor would think. Another listener has texted in. They say Trump and Conor McGregor are much the same, got a lot of money without much between the ears. The people saying Trump has disrespected the White House must forget that a certain president had a female perform oral sex on him in the White House a few decades ago. Great pity the Burke family did not get into the Oval Office as well. That would be the icing on the cake. That would have been, another bizarre move. There is a change coming in Ireland. Trump doesn't forget what Simon Harris and Michaela Martin have said about him. Inviting Conor McGregor was a power move. Ireland has changed a lot in 5 years. Pharma will be the first to go and then the big tech. We've brought this on ourselves as we voted in the wrong people. What a message to send to the Irish government. I totally agree with Raymond. Raymond was on earlier discussing Conor McGregor's visit, and he was saying that doesn't matter who it was, whether it was Conor McGregor or someone else, it was just a message that Trump was sending to the Irish government that, the diplomatic ties there, that he wasn't really interested in Michaela Martin or Simon Harris. Another comment, I'm not a fan of McGregor, but there is an element of truth to what he is saying about illegal immigration here. You don't have to love the messenger to like the message. Less than 100 days ago, people with the views of Conor McGregor got less than 1.5% of the vote from the Irish electorate. A couple more texts. Don't agree with everything Conor McGregor Don't agree with everything with Conor McGregor, but he spoke what a lot of the Irish people are thinking, and of course our great media are backing the government. Ireland needs a DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency department, similar to America, to ensure accountability on public spending. Who is the person signing off on paying millions in legal fees defending the indefensible regarding special needs assessments? So that's a few of your comments there. Keep getting in touch. You can text or WhatsApp us on 086 60 25,000, and you can email comments at highlandradio.com or call us here on 91 25,000. It's great to hear your views on different topics, and I did think the Conor McGregor thing, I didn't think it would be as divisive. I thought a lot of people wouldn't have liked Conor McGregor coming into the White House, but yeah, it just shows you. We'll be back with the Community Garda slot just after this short break.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday the 18th of March. You're playing for the daily prize of €400 on the brown sheet. The reference number is S17. It's game number 12. The numbers are 52, 71, 32, 24, 87, 76, 86, 38, 18, and finally 14. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out ShaneConleyCars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Planning your big day? Book with Evolve Clothing, Letterkenny Retail Park. Private wedding room, expert advice and tailored fits for the groom, groomsmen and page boy. Great value awaits. Visit us today.
Explore jewels of history. Experience legendary events and the terror of battle. From the castles of the nobility to the huts of the poor, visit the tombs of kings and monasteries of the saints, conserved, protected and shared by the Office of Public Works. From Dunangasa and Tara in the east to Carlingford Castle and Derrynane in the south. Visit your local heritage site and come with us over the threshold of history. Plan your next visit on heritageireland.ie, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
Hello, the phone box, Pierce Road, Letterkenny.
Is your spring sale on?
Yes, it starts Tuesday, March 18th. Huge discounts on all the latest new and used phones, in-store and online at thephonebox.ie.
New and used phones massively reduced. Visit the Phone Box, Pierce Road, Letterkenny, or online at thephonebox.ie.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025.
It's time now for our Community Garda slot. We're joined in studio by Garda Sean Sweeney from the Buncrana District Garda Station. Good morning, Sean.
Morning, thanks for having me.
So we're starting with a very sad tragedy yesterday in Letterkenny.
Yeah, so Gardaí investigating a road traffic collision involved a car and two pedestrians that occurred at Lower Main Street, Letterkenny, on the morning of Monday, the 17th of March. The collision, which the two pedestrians were struck by a car, occurred at approximately 3 a.m. So two men were then conveyed to Letterkenny University Hospital for treatment of serious injuries. One, unfortunately, a man aged in his 60s, passed away later that day in hospital, and the second man, also in his 60s, is airlifted to Galway University Hospital, where he continues to receive medical treatment for serious injuries. So the driver of the car, a male aged in his late teens, was arrested at the scene. He's since been released without charge, so a file will now be prepared for the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Garda Youth Diversion Bureau. So our appeal is for any witnesses to the incident to come forward. Anybody whose dashcam footage was travelling the area between 2:30am and 3:30am on Monday the 17th of March, please make that available to us. In particular, we're appealing to anybody who's in the area of the Dry Arch roundabout on the Old Town Road at that time, which is 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning, or if anybody's any information, please contact Letterkenny on 91 67100 or the confidential line 1800 666 111.
Yeah, and any small piece of information would greatly help in that investigation. Unfortunately, another road traffic collision, this time on March the 15th in the Manor Cunningham area.
Some of a collision involving 3 vehicles occurred, and then 14 is the turn off for Pluck, Letterkenny to Lefford Road on Saturday, the 15th of March at approximately 2:20 p.m. One of the drivers was taken to Letterkenny University Hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. There were no other injuries reported at the scene. So our appeal to anybody who travelled on the N14 on that date between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. whose dashcam footage or witnessed the collision, please contact Gardaí Letterkenny 9167100.
And on the same day in the Racecourse Road area of Muff, another traffic collision.
Yes, single vehicle collision is believed occurred between approximately 5:15 p.m. and 5:50 p.m. on the Racecourse Road in Muff. So this was Saturday the 15th of March. Silver Volkswagen Golf has occurred in a collision. It was discovered on its roof, that location, but there was no driver or passengers at the scene. This vehicle was reported to have been stolen from the area of the Craig Road in Muff before the collision occurred. So our appeal is to road users who had dashcam footage travelled within either of those areas between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Please make the footage available, or if anybody witnessed the collision, please contact Gardaí Mocrana on 9320540.
And in the Downings area, we're moving to now.
Yeah, so burglary occurred in Derrycastle in Downings between 4 p.m. on Saturday the 8th of March and 9:30 a.m. on Thursday the 13th of March. The vacant house in that area is undergoing renovation. It was entered after a glass panel in the front door was smashed. So a black Henley stove was stolen from the house. Our appeal to the residents in the area, if they observed any suspicious activity or vehicles in the area on those dates, please contact Gardaí Milford on 915 3060, or if they should come across a similar type of stove for sale on a second-hand basis, please alert Gardaí. You can also report this to confidential line 1800 666 111.
And there's a couple of investigations underway into a number of thefts. We'll start in the Ardra area first.
Yes, theft incident occurred at Gartnacarts, Ardra. This is between midnight on Thursday the 6th of March and 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 11th of March. At some point during that time period, a stone rake digger bucket, this would be suitable for use on a GCB, was stolen from that area. So our appeals to anybody who may come across a similar item for sale on a second-hand basis or has any information that can assist with the investigation, contact Gardaí in Ballyshannon on 07198 58530.
And then to the Annagry area.
Yeah, this is a theft of home heating oil from Holiday Home in Annagry East on between Wednesday the 12th of March and Thursday the 13th of March. So approximately 600 litres of oil is believed to be stolen. The property in question is quite close to Annagry Village. So we appeal to anybody who observed suspicious activity in the area between those dates, make contact with Gardaí in Milford on 9153060. And we'd also like to remind the public, if any suspicious activity that they may observe, please report it to us.
And then moving to the Moville area, criminal damage incident there.
Yes, appeal of witness now, criminal damage that occurred in the Crawford Square, Moville, on Monday, this is yesterday, 17th of March, between approximately 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. A car that was parked at that location was keyed along the passenger side between those times. So if anybody witnessed the incident or has any relevant information, please contact Gardaí Mocrana on 9320540.
And then an assault involving a number of youths in the Burnfoot area on March the 11th.
Yeah, so I said this occurred in Burnfoot Village. It's Tuesday the 11th of March at approximately 8 p.m. It's alleged that a male youth was assaulted at that location by 5 other youths, 3 male and 2 female. He sustained injuries as a result of the incident. So our appeal to anybody who may have witnessed the incident to contact Buncrana on 9320540. We're particularly interested in hearing from anybody who travelled to the Burnfoot area with dashcam footage between 7:45 p.m. and 8:15 p.m. on that date.
And there was a question then in last week. The question was, hi Greg and Gardaí, around the Garda station recently and no one wanted to know details of very bad driving. They referred me onto an online site. Not good policing, they think. You have a response in relation to that?
Yeah, so look, this is a difficult question to answer without being in possession of all the facts. Now, it may be possible, however, the caller have been advised to make the report via an online reporting form if the matter was not an emergency. So as Traffic Watch this is a partnership with the public to improve driver behaviour, reduce the number of road collisions and fatalities. So members of the public can report non-emergency traffic-related incidents using an online reporting form. These reports are logged by Garda staff at the Garda Information Services Centre. Reports then forwarded to the superintendent in the relevant community engagement area to progress. So he'll then appoint a Garda member to investigate the traffic complaint. So what they'll do, they'll establish the complainant's version of events, establish if there are other witnesses to the alleged incident, discuss possible actions available, and take a written statement of complaint. So we're following an investigation, and offences believed to be disclosed. A file will be submitted to the superintendent, who will decide what action, if any, is to be taken. And in all instances, the complainant should be notified of the outcome of their complaint. Always in an emergency situation, we'd ask members of the public to call 999 or 112.
And finally, for now, the Garda Schools quiz recently took place, and there were a number of winners at that.
Yes, this took place. The divisional final took place on the 13th of March at the Clarke Hotel. Superintendent David Kelly Milford stood in behalf of Chief Superintendent Sheridan on the night. So the overall winners on third place was Scotland New Fakered in Listrin. Second place, Creevy National School, Ballyshannon, and the winners were Scalding Moor, Killybegs in first place. So this initiative has been run for over 30 years, and 90 schools have taken part. So a quick thank you to our sponsors making this possible: Donegal County Council, Donegal Road Safety Working Group, Donegal Motor Club, and the Clarke Hotel for providing the venue, and also thanks to Louise McKeever of the RSA for all her assistance. So we look big thank you to all the students who took part, and also to the teachers and families who took time out to come and support them.
Great. That was Garda Sean Sweeney there from the Buncrana District Garda Station with all the latest appeals. We'll be back just after this short break.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025. Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Join us for the celebration of the year. Highland Radio is turning 35, and we're marking the occasion with an unforgettable birthday bash concert at the Mount Errigal Hotel. It's on Monday the 31st of March, and it features the very best of country music with Dominic Kerwin, Jimmy Buckley, Michael English, Patrick Feeney, Hugo Duncan, Claudia Buckley, Connell Gallen, and myself, David James, and my brand new band. Tickets are now on sale for only €30 online at highlandradio.com from hotel reception and all usual outlets. We'll see you for the Highland Radio Birthday Bash Monday the 31st of March.
Discover full and part-time courses from level 2 to master's degree at the College of Agriculture, Food and Rural Enterprise, CAFRE, Northern Ireland's specialist agri-food and land-based college, with campuses at Greenmount, Antrim, Loughry, Cookstown and Enniskillen. Study a course in food, agriculture, horticulture, equine, floristry, veterinary nursing, land-based engineering or business. Make a difference. Book now to attend an open day from Tuesday 25th to Saturday 29th of March. For event information, visit cafre.ac.uk.
Your favorite playlist. A long open road trip. Great on their own, but combined, a perfect complement to one another. Just like Audi hybrid models. One part epic efficient electric power, the other legendary Audi engine performance. This is a pairing that's all in one, twice as good. This is Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
Why leave the magic moments and great scenes you've captured sitting on your phone when you can have them printed at McGee's Chemist? Using McGee's website or one of their in-store kiosks, you just upload your photos, select the ones you want, and have them printed instantly within an hour, or use the 24-hour service. 35mm and film from disposable cameras also printed, and old photos can be digitally restored. Hold your memories in your hand with McGee's Chemist, Letterkenny.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Discover trending new styles each week in fashion, footwear, accessories, homeware and more. Visit us to explore the latest arrivals in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
Today's weather staying mainly dry. Sunshine will develop through the day with highest temperatures of 7 to 9 degrees. Now, I'm delighted to be joined in studio by a number of guests. They're smiling over at me. Hope they keep smiling. So Sculty Vogue in Clohan is heading to Texas very shortly. It's part of the VEX robotics competition and they're in the finals. So we'll start with yourself, Muncher, Mary Blake. Excitement, I'm sure, is building.
The excitement is huge. I think we're all still in a little bit of shock as well. Absolutely delighted, thrilled, proud, and excited. The whole school community is just we can't believe that we're going to the World Championship.
Yeah. So we'll start with who's in front of me there.
I'm Andrew Tourish.
So Andre, we'll start with yourself. How did this all start?
It started one day in November. We were invited to go to Vin Valley College for their local VEX robotics competition. So we didn't have a robot, so we had to build one in like less than a day because we got an invitation a week before. So we had to build a robot.
So only less than a day?
Yeah, less than a day to build our robot for the competition.
My God. And what is your name?
I'm Oliver Dunkley.
So we have Andre, Oliver and Finlay. Perfect. So Andre, you only had one day.
Yeah, we only had one day.
And how did you get started that day?
Well, first we had to organise all the pieces because there's a lot. And then we just started to build and it was going pretty smoothly.
And Oliver, how did you come up with the idea?
Well, we found instructions online on how to build the robot, and then we didn't really make any changes onto it until after the competition.
Right. And was it a specific robot you had to build or anything you wanted?
We had choices on which one to build, so we just chose the one that was recommended. It's called Swish.
Right. And Finlay, how was the process? Was it a bit stressful with one day?
Yeah, it was very stressful for one day, but we managed to get it done in that space of time.
A great team effort?
Mm-hmm.
No fallouts or anything?
No.
And Mary, how did it go? Is this something that you always do at the school?
The school has been involved for a number of years. Personally, this is my first year teaching with it. I suppose the ATU and Letterkenny bring this VEX robotics to the teachers and to the students in actual fact in Donegal. So Finn Valley College had invited us to their local competition, but the actual regional final is held in the ATU every January. So there was 29 robots involved in that, and the school actually, through the funding that the ATU and the sport, I have to mention John Conahan and Gary Cullen out there. They've been doing phenomenal work, the Department of Computing out there. So we actually got a second robot. So we went to Letterkenny after Finn Valley College with 2 robots. Both teams did exceptionally well. And from that competition, the boys won the Teamwork Challenge, which is the main game that you play within VEX Robotics. And then they got through to the national finals in Cork, which was huge.
Brilliant. And Andre, did you travel to Cork and all? Was that a good?
Yeah, we travelled with the school in Duish. They're kind of close, not really, but we travelled with them in this big bus, and it took a while.
So Oliver, do you want to explain to me what this robot does?
Well, it can use motors and a brain to pick up a ball using an intake, which is 2 gears and some rubber bands, and the ball catches onto the rubber bands and it goes onto the catapult, which can shoot the ball into these switches, which scores points, and it can also drive around using wheels and other motors.
Amazing. I can see it in front of me. I'm not sure if they can see it on the camera. So is this something that you use, like, can you play a game with this? Yeah. Or it's just for the purpose of robotics?
It's just for the purpose for the robotics.
Yeah, the team challenge, tell Michaela about the team challenge.
The teamwork challenge is we work with another team to score points, and by the end we end up with the same amount of points. We have to make a strategy and pass, score, and work together to score the most amount of points we can.
So is this using the robot?
There are 2 robots. There's an arena,
Right.
and there are 4 targets.
Yes, I can. Is that the other one I can see over there?
Yeah, and there are two
Great.
teams working together. So it's all about collaboration, teamwork, strategy, Michaela. And it's working. Usually, when you're in a challenge or in a competition like this, you're working to try and beat the team that you're with. But
Yeah.
actually, when the 2 robots go into the arena, they're both working together. So it's all about the boys getting together with the other team and figuring out what our robot can do, your robot can do, and it's working together. And it's only a minute. Each game is a minute. After 30 seconds, they
Right.
change drivers. So the boys went to the national competition in Cork, and themselves and a school, Holy Cross in County Cork, were crowned Teamwork Challenge champions. And down in Cork, not only did they win that, which got them an invite to America, they also won a design award.
Oh, brilliant.
And there are 4 schools now in the whole country going. There's another local school here, Scullroller Gansmile. We'd like to congratulate them. A school in County Cork, Holy Cross, and a school in Ballinrobe, St Joseph's, and ourselves are all going.
Yeah, brilliant. Such an exciting time. Finlay, I see you lifting a red book there. Is that the instructions?
This is the engineering notebook. Like all the problems we had, everything that we did, we have it down in this, and then this is like full, so we have to use this one here.
Very busy. So do you keep them notes then? Once you build the robot, you go to your competitions. I think one of you mentioned you kind of changed the robot then after that. So is that the kind of notes you would keep in that?
Yes, that is.
So you've been very busy writing as well.
Yeah.
And so talk to me, Finlay, about Texas now. Are you excited?
Yeah, we all are really excited, but we're all also very nervous because it's like a very big country that we're going to.
I'm sure you'll be well looked after though. And Oliver, I'm sure having won these awards so far gives you great confidence going forward now to Texas.
It really does give me a sort of confidence that we might win at least like one award in Texas.
And Andre, is there a number of different awards then up for grabs?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of awards up for grabs. There's almost 10.
Yep.
Yeah, about
10.
Yeah.
You're in with a great chance then. So tell me how you're going to transport this the whole way to Texas.
I think we're gonna stick a robot in a box and put it with a bunch of bubble wrap.
And hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll make it. So Mary, talk to me then about once you get to Texas, what is the process there then?
Texas is actually the World Championship. It's Vex Robotics spans from the age of 4 right through to universities. So we are actually in a competition called Vex IQ. There's 2 lower levels and 2 higher levels. So the World Championship starts actually on the 6th of May and it runs through to the 14th. Our event begins on the 12th of May and runs, it's a 3-day event to the 14th. 2 of the boys here are actually making their confirmation on the Thursday afternoon, and then we are flying on Saturday. We have to be in the convention centre out in Dallas at 8 a.m. on Monday morning.
Right.
3 long days. Their initial inspection of the robot will happen on the Monday. They'll play qualifying matches. And there's also an opening ceremony. Day 2 will involve them again playing skills challenges, team challenge matches, and then day 3 will be the divisional playoffs and a closing ceremony, and then we fly home the next day. So it's going to be very, very busy days.
But it's a great experience and it's something to be so proud to be part of.
Oh, it's amazing. And the boys actually have, as part of this whole competition, there are judges and judges interviews. So they actually,
Right.
for Cork, they had to be interviewed on their notebook, and that was all part of their design award, how it was awarded. But now for America, their notebook has been sent already digitally to America,
Right.
and they're going to do a Zoom interview on the 29th of March now with the judges in America for the World
So it's
Championship.
really stringent and there's so many processes and kind of like different heats to get there. So I'm sure like you are so proud that you have got this far and you have got through so many different stages as it is. Oliver, what are you said you're a wee bit nervous, are you?
Yeah, I'm really nervous. about it.
Are you nervous that the robot won't work? I'm sure you have practiced many times, have you?
Yeah, we've practiced a lot, and a lot of the times the rubber bands stop working, the gears fall out, stuff like that's always.
But that's happened now, so that it won't happen again. It's all done and dusted, so we don't have to worry about that. And Finlay, do you bring spare parts with you going?
Yeah, we had, like, when we went to Clarke, we had a whole box of spare parts.
Right.
And, like, they were, like, the main parts that we would need.
So you are all well prepared.
Yeah, we are.
And Mary, will they get a few days off school then to recover?
Oh, I'm afraid. I suppose it'll depend on how we get on. But a week in America is definitely going to be very busy for them. Michaela, I'd like to even just acknowledge and thank everybody that has been supporting us. There's a huge fundraising campaign ongoing on all the social media. There's iDonate, a lot of the local tech companies and that have been helping us out. And there's a huge community-based support for the boys and the school, and it's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, everybody's rooting for them.
I'd like to thank everybody. Yeah, everybody's rooting for them. Everybody's getting behind them, and there's Trojan work being done. And it's an amazing accomplishment for 2 12-year-olds and a 10-year-old to be going to a world championship representing Ireland.
Yeah, so we wish you all the very best. You're not just representing Ireland, or not just representing Donegal in your school, you're representing Ireland. So we wish you all safe travels and very best of luck with the championship. And you can be very proud that you have reached this stage as it is. But thank you all for joining me this morning, and good luck. And everybody be dying to hear what the outcome is from that. So thank you all very much. We'll be back now just after this short break.
Virgin Media Broadband is smooth. How smooth, you ask? Well, imagine you're a big old walrus, and rather than lumbering around a glacier avoiding polar bears, you're on a lake, driving a speedboat. 3,000 kilos of mollusk-munching magnificence, feeling the wind in your whiskers and the sun on your big blubbery face. That's the kind of smoothness you feel with 99.9% broadband reliability. Available nationwide. Virgin Media. It's playtime.
Subject to location and availability. T's and C's apply. For broadband reliability, see virginmedia.ie/proof.
Hyundai has pulled off a bit of a masterstroke, says the Irish Times. CompleteCar.ie write about its eye-catching design and a surprisingly capacious interior. Meet the all-new, all-electric Hyundai Inster. Now available to road test at showrooms nationwide, starting from just €18,995. Are you in?
Test drive the new Inster at Divers Hyundai, Canal Road, Letterkenny.
PDO thread lifts and skin boosters, which rejuvenate the skin by improving facial contours, lifting and tightening the jowls, neck, cheeks and eyebrows, are available at Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. To choose the right aesthetic treatment for you, contact Mary Ferry, your aesthetic practitioner. Also offering fat-dissolving treatments, dermal fillers and laser treatments for all skin conditions. Hair and makeup packages also available. Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. 07495 325 75.
Monster Bingo every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel. €3,300 must go with €1,000 on the last page. Doors open 7:30. Bingo starts at 8:30. That's Monster Bingo this and every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford. Attention all commercial business owners. Are you looking to cut energy costs? Join Efficient Renewables for a commercial solar and heat pump information evening on Tuesday 25th of March at 7:30 p.m. in Main Street, Newton Cunningham. Learn about the NC7 process, MIC upgrade process, available grants, tax relief, system sizes and energy savings. Everything you need to reduce your business's energy bills. Find out more and ask the experts in our office and showroom on Tuesday 25th of March at 7:30 p.m. We look forward to seeing you there.
Now, welcome back to the 9 till noon show. I'm joined now on the line by Rosina Doherty. Good morning to you, Rosina.
Good morning, Michaela.
So, Rosina, you were a cancer patient in October 2022, and unfortunately, you need ongoing care. But what is your experience? What has your experience been so far?
So I have spoke to Greg now a few times about this. So basically, I feel that the cancer services in Letterkenny University Hospital are very outdated and need to be upgraded. Back in November of 2022, I did manage to get a meeting with the manager, Sean Murphy. In that meeting, he told me things like that there was an ambulatory care centre was planned, that there was 3 planned for the Sale region, and he was hopeful that Letterkenny would get theirs first. He told me that the aseptic unit in the day unit, the oncology hematology day unit, would be moved. And he told me he would meet me again in the new year, so that would have been January, February 2023. He didn't meet me again. I did contact the hospital, several emails, and I was told that I would be informed when there was one of the health forum meetings. I think they were called, something like that. Anyway, I haven't heard from the hospital since. So recently I was back in the hospital for checkups because although I am now in remission for the past 2 years, I still need care. I still have no immune system. I've been admitted to the ward, the hematology ward, twice in the last 8 or 9 months with infections. And things haven't changed. Yes, they have a bigger ward. I have to take my hat off there. They've moved from a 13-bed ward to now a 24-bed ward, which is it's a lovely ward. It's a great. It's brilliant for the patients. But the day unit that sees patients like regularly day in, day out is not any bigger. It's 14 chairs, and I just really feel that I need to push this on now. I need to push this because in 2022 they said that the aseptic unit, it's a pharmacy. I think it's where chemotherapy is made. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I think that was supposed to be moved. I was just doing a wee bit of research yesterday evening, and I came on a post that was a conversation between Padraig McLaughlin and Stephen Donnelly, which took place on the 3rd of November 2020. And in that conversation, it was said that that unit would have been moved somewhere in 2021. So
4 years on now, and
and it's still there. I did meet with a local representative last week. He told me again about the ambulatory care service when I challenged him and said that, as far as I was aware, that was spoke about at the last meeting. Sometimes it's just hard to remember everything, so I couldn't have been 100% sure. He told me that no, it definitely could have been because this is a new thing. But when I came back home that day and looked through and found my notes, yes, it was talked about in November 2022, where Sean Murphy had told me that they were planning this ambulatory care centre that would house a better cancer care facility. So, and he did tell me that it was a 5-year plan, but we're now 2.5 years into a 5-year plan, and absolutely nothing has happened. And
I do know that sometimes these things are they're very lengthy processes. But do you know if there have been any plans at all, or any plans made, or any works, or any discussions, proper discussions had even with the HSC that this is going to happen?
No, not as far as I'm aware. No. Apparently over the years there has been lots of discussions in Letterkenny about the cancer care facilities. There have been a lot of promises made and all promises broken. There has been plans talked about and then they were taken off the table again. This is never going to happen. They are, as far as I'm concerned, pushing the cancer services towards Galway. And I am not willing to let that happen because even I'm in remission now. I don't know the day when I will need that again.
Yeah,
I don't know,
and
someday my children.
Yeah, firsthand, and you're making this. You still need ongoing care, but to be making this point then on behalf of future patients or patients that are going through this is remarkable, Rosina. That you're thankfully out the other end, but as you say, you don't know who belonging to you will need this again, and the current services that are there at the minute, how do they affect yourself going through care? How did they affect you going through care?
How did they affect? They didn't how did they affect? There was constantly the nurses and the staff are under pressure. So you're in there and you can see that everybody is like rushing around, trying to get things done, trying to get as many people through the door in a day as they can. And it's one of those services where I went in days for a checkup. Maybe when I got in there, they said, you need blood. I might have needed 2 bags of blood or 2 units. Then they might have said your potassium's low or you're something else. And then I could have been sitting in a chair for 8 hours in what I thought was just like a routine checkup. That happens all the time because they don't know until the patient comes through the door what that patient needs on that particular day.
Right.
So it's really hard to plan your day. And then in such a small space, a small setting, you only can have so many people. So there's people left waiting. And then a few weeks ago, there was this whole hoo-ha that Donegal, Letterkenny's not seeing their cancer patients. They're not seeing their cancer patients because they haven't the facilities and the room to see their cancer patients.
Yeah, I think
It's a
that might have been
massive area.
the last time you were on with Greg, and it was that 31% of newly diagnosed cancer patients at Letterkenny University Hospital begin their cancer treatment within the recommended time of 15 working days. And that figure is desperately low. And for anybody that does get a diagnosis, the fear that figure would instill in them is crazy as well.
That's absolutely horrendous. But what's so annoying is they're putting it out around the country that they're not doing their job. They're not doing their job because they haven't the facilities to do their job. The HSE, the hospital manager, everybody needs to up their game, and Letterkenny needs to be looked after because this whole big fancy idea of sending us all to Galway is absolute rubbish. Galway has enough cancer patients of its own to look after. They do not need the half a Donegal descending on them. And with the rate of cancer now down to 1 and 2, and the rate of survival is 5 out of 7, cancer patients are living longer and need more care. So it is a big burden on the system, but it's not a burden. That's a totally wrong word. But the system needs to be adjusted to suit. We need a standalone cancer services in Letterkenny, a facility that houses everybody under the one roof and can care for people who are needing chemo, people who are needing their aftercare. That all needs to be done. And I'm fed up waiting, to be honest. And I feel so let down because in 2022, when I listened to ministers and I listened to Sean Murphy, and when I came out of that meeting feeling that they were listening to me and things were going to change, and people told me, Rosina, no, things aren't going to change. And I was full of confidence, and people put confidence in me that things were, and they're not. And I am just not having any more of it. So tomorrow I am going to be staging a protest outside the main gate of the hospital. And I know it's short notice, but if anybody has an hour to come and stand with me, I'd really appreciate it. So I plan to be there from 9 a.m. to possibly 3:30. And I would safely say it'll not be the only protest, but we have to start somewhere, and I'm starting tomorrow.
And it's a sad testament that, you receiving ongoing cancer treatment, that you've been forced to make this move, Rosina, and take a stand for yourself and future cancer patients and all those that are going through treatment at the moment.
Yeah, but somebody has to do it. And we can all, and I'm not making myself out to be the hero here. I just feel so passionate about this. You get in there and the nurses are so lovely and so hardworking. The doctors, I have 2 haematologists who have looked after me and who have saved my life. I just feel I owe it to give something back.
Yeah. Do you feel as well that, the public representatives haven't done enough on this and haven't lobbied government and the HSE enough on this?
No, haven't. They fob you off with stories.
Well, Rosina, I hope you get a good turnout for that protest tomorrow. So remind me of the times again.
So if anybody has just, I know it's short notice and it's a long time. So if somebody just has a spare hour, spare half hour, I would just really appreciate it. So from maybe 9 o'clock to 3:30. But as I say, it'll not be the only protest. So if you can't get tomorrow, there'll be others, and I will have better notice the next time. This is something that I've just been racking around in my head all week, and I just decided I need to do something because I just cannot be listening to stories anymore and people making me promises that they're not going to keep. And I just have to get it out there to the rest of the country. Jennifer Carroll McNeil will be getting an email from me as well. And she'll be getting 2 or 3 or 10 emails, whatever it takes to get her attention to, because I'm just fed up with Letterkenny being just totally ignored and then everybody talking about how bad it is. It's bad because nobody is willing to do anything to help it.
Well, Rosina,
and they do have they do have great staff. Like I have to keep reiterating this. This is not a staff issue. Although I'm saying this, they are understaffed because of the circumstances, because nobody wants to work in a place where they don't have the proper facilities and you're under pressure the whole time. Like if you had proper working facilities, they would have the staff. I'm confident of that.
Yeah. Well, Rosina, it's certainly a strong message you're sending. I commend you for your constant campaign on this. We wish you well tomorrow and in the future. And thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And thank you so much for supporting and for taking my call as well. Thank you.
Not at all. It's 11 o'clock and time for the latest news headlines with Donald Kavanagh.
Thanks, Michaela. Good morning. A male in his teens arrested in connection with a fatal collision on Letterkenny's Lower Main Street has been released without charge. Gardaí say files will be prepared for the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Garda Youth Diversion Bureau. Almost 200 people attended a vigil last night at the scene of the collision, which left one local man, Anthony Gallagher, dead and his brother Martin critically ill in hospital. On the show with Michaela a short time ago, Garda Sean Sweeney reiterated the Garda appeal for information. Full details on our website, highlandradio.com. Gardaí are trying to track the movements of a stolen car that crashed at Racecourse Road, Muff, on Saturday evening. The single vehicle crash is believed to have occurred between 5:15 and 6:10. The silver Volkswagen Golf involved in the collision was discovered on its roof at that location, but no driver or passengers were at the scene. The vehicle involved was reported to have been stolen in the Craig Road area of Muff. A Northern Inishowen councillor is again calling on Uisce Éireann to replace 2 kilometres of water main between Minderan and Clonmany after another significant burst on the trunk main supplying customers in the area. Areas affected by the burst yesterday and again today include Dunaff, Urris, Scortfad, Clonmany and Ballyliffin. Uisce Éireann are hoping the necessary repairs can be completed within the next hour. Councillor Martin McDermott says work to replace that section of pipe must now proceed immediately. Donegal TD Charles Ward says he's a very different politician now to the man that was elected for the 100% Redress Party in November. Deputy Ward, who sits in a technical group with People Before Profit and fellow independents, including Galway TD Catherine Connolly, says he's more confident and is learning how to phrase questions, particularly in exchanges with Taoiseach Micheál Martin. And Gardaí are investigating an alleged assault in the middle of Burnfoot Village on Tuesday evening, last March 11th. At approximately 8 o'clock, it's been alleged a youth was assaulted by 5 others, 3 male and 2 female. He sustained non-life-threatening injuries as a result of the incident. Gardaí are appealing for information and or dashcam footage. And we're back with news headlines again at 12 noon.
I'm Fionnuala Fibre O'Farrell Flynn, and this is Broadband Breaking News. Over 50 providers are now using NBI's network to bring high-speed fibre broadband to homes across the country. That means that wherever you are, and whatever package and provider you choose, you'll get all the benefits of rural Ireland's dedicated fibre broadband network. Connect at nbi.ie.
NBI is delivering the government's national broadband plan.
Fantastically fast fibre. Say that 5 times. Fantastic. I can't.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
You're tuned, as indeed mentioned in the on break there, that to the 9 till noon show. It's Michaela Clarke in for Greg Hughes today. Now, unfortunately, Donegal is no stranger to road fatalities, and as mentioned at the start of the show, we very much keep in our thoughts today the family of Anthony Gallagher, who tragically lost his life in a fatal crash yesterday in Letterkenny. Ahead of the launch of the Road Victims Support Northern Ireland Donegal group, I am joined in studio now by Debbie Mullen, Marie Fury and Eamon Caron. They're all involved in this launch. Good morning to you all.
Morning.
So Debbie, we'll start with yourself. You're the chair of the group and you're also a specialist trauma and bereavement counsellor. So how did this come about?
I suppose I've worked in this field for the last 8-9 years, supporting those who have been impacted through a fatal road traffic collision. And this new initiative, especially in this area, has come about because we do have one of our members who is a counsellor in this area who also has had a lived experience, and we felt that now was the time to reach out and ensure that we put something more concrete in the Donegal area, and especially now at this moment in time with all the unfortunate losses of life.
And Debbie, is this a group that has been operating elsewhere previously?
Yes, this group has been operating in Northern Ireland, and we support everybody that has been impacted by a fatal road traffic collision in all the counties of Northern Ireland. We always wanted to ensure that Donegal was included, but we are delivering those support services to families and anyone impacted by that traumatic loss of life.
Marie, unfortunately, you've been affected. You've all unfortunately been affected by loss on the roads. You lost your partner, Jonathan, a number of years ago. Is this one of the main reasons why you're getting involved in this group?
I suppose down through the years I've lost a lot of people on the road, and since like the aftermath of Johnny, Debbie supported me, and like I had to travel to Northern Ireland to get that support, so this is something that I've always wanted to introduce into Donegal.
And is this something that you believe people will benefit, say, in the immediate aftermath of losing someone on the roads?
Most definitely. I don't think people realise like what happens in the aftermath. Like, for instance, you would need support through the inquest, you need support through the legal side of things as well, because when you're pushed into like this journey,
it's
like
something you don't expect.
No, definitely not.
And so many people don't have any experience of this. So as you
Mhm.
mentioned, the legal, like looking towards the legal side of this is so daunting, and it kind of compounds the grief as well. It's something, you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, and then having to go through this lengthy process, and it is a very lengthy process.
Definitely, yeah, and all these aspects are re-traumatizing as well, so you definitely need that support there, and you need like the advocacy, the guidance on like what's ahead.
Yeah. And Eamon, you're a member of this group as well. You lost your son Noah just a matter of months ago. Struggling with that, what did you seek out? Were you aware of this group prior to that?
I wasn't. It was actually just after Noah passed, which is 6 months ago. We were told by people to get in contact with Debbie here, and Debbie has been counselling us ever since. And it's through that I decided that I want to give something back. I think it's important, especially from a man's perspective, to try and get men on board, try and get men to talk. So I just thought there's something I can give back in Noah's name, keep Noah's name alive, and do something positive in the light of such a big tragedy for the family.
Yeah, and there is that, we talk about it in so many different scenarios, but the men coming out and speaking, it's difficult for them. They sometimes feel they have to put on this facade and be the man of the family, but
That's right.
They're grieving so much as well. And did you find that yourself?
I did. I found initially whenever Noah passed that I felt like I had to be the pillar for the family. I had to be there to hold my wife up, my kids, and I know now, and even just from talking to other men at our meeting there, that they felt exactly the same, that they had to be the strong ones to keep everybody up. Whereas that's a good thing in some ways, but in other ways it's a bad thing, because men need to talk as well. They need to get their emotions out, and they need to get help.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important, that men realise and understand that they're also vulnerable, and it's just as difficult for them as it is for anybody else.
Yeah.
And sorry, and through that, Eamon has set up the Men's Time to Talk,
Yep.
Which is, their own unique WhatsApp group that, and all the volunteers within that group have been given appropriate training, whether it's listening ear support, whether it's safe talk or mental health first aid, and they're helping each other in that group, and it's a very powerful space for them to share on a daily basis.
And even having that element through WhatsApp.
Absolutely.
They don't feel they have to present at a meeting. They can send a message, and even if, they're sending a message seeking help, or they could send a message, I'm sure, can we meet for a coffee? Like, it's a lot easier for people, and it's a lot, rather than presenting at a meeting, it's a lot more relaxed for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're finding. There's so many ways now that we can offer support to people. It doesn't always have to be in-person support. We're very much about peer support. So we're trying to get, siblings to link with siblings, and mums with mums, etc., etc. And that has been very good initiative, really, because people have that idea of this is what has brought them together, is a shared similar experience. And unfortunately it's going to be the most traumatic experience probably of their lives that they're enduring right now.
Yeah.
But to feel supported by someone else wearing a similar pair of shoes.
That's it. Unfortunately, everyone does experience grief in their life, but not everybody experiences the loss of a loved one on the road. Is that something you find, Marie, it easier than speaking to people who are in a similar situation?
Yes, definitely. Through the lived experience, you can connect with people on a deeper level, and they truly understand what you're going through.
Yeah. And you're leading out here in Donegal on the campaign as well. What way will this work when it's up and running here? Will there be meetings, or is it...
Yes, that is something that we're looking forward to doing, is setting up like support group meetings here, counselling service.
We'll have our launch now. Our official launch will be now in the Silver Tassie next Thursday evening, and there is where we'll be presenting everything that's going to be offered to the people of Donegal. And it really would be a worthwhile event for people to turn up to, because there's where we're going to be hearing from keynote speakers of the lack of support that maybe has been in Donegal, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. As Marie said, she had to come across to Northern Ireland to get the support she needed, and it is specialised support, and what we do know is when people are getting that support from someone else who has been in that similar situation, they feel heard and they feel understood, and that we also know that there is no time limit to grief.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot involved in that meeting in the Silver Tassie, but really it's about running family-led initiatives. Our group is family-led. All our volunteers are coming from that lived experience. We have volunteers, and we do need volunteers in this area to help with our fundraising and spreading the word of this group and the work that it is intending to do. We know more and more that our rural areas are being impacted by loss of life. I know here in Donegal there was 18 losses of life. Last year there was 87 in Northern Ireland as a whole, and those are all one too many. And we really have to be advocates for road safety and driver responsibility.
That was what I was going to ask. Are you going to be involved in things like that as well? It's not just supporting family members.
Absolutely. One of the things that we've already been doing in the north, and we are planning to do here, and is that we want to run workshops where we are happy to go into any community group or organisation. And believe me, when you hear each of our individual stories, and Eamon's son was 17, my son was 17, Marie's partner, they all had a full life ahead of them. But when you hear how very quickly that all ended, it does make people sit up and take note. And change has to happen. And the only way that we can put change forward is if we are willing to share that experience and for people to listen and take responsibility. And we know that we've ran this programme. I ran it with another organisation with a group of 400 children in Buncrana, and it was very effective. And, you know, whenever I heard the feedback, that people still remembered what was said on that day.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's so important,
Yes.
speaking to the children. I know
Yeah.
you'd mentioned Debbie and then Eamon, your sons were 17. Eamon, do you think that that is important, that early intervention?
Absolutely. I think it's getting the word out there, and it's putting a person and people behind the story.
Yeah.
It's making it real. I'm not just somebody coming on stage and talking from an educated point of view. I'm talking from a lived experience. I'm talking from someone who's standing in my shoes, you know, and I want people to realise that pain and realise how difficult that is, and realise the impact that has on not just the family but the friends, the relatives and the greater community, you know, because the person that has passed, the likes of Noah was so involved in the community, had his own business, and it's that ripple effect that is just huge, you know, and anybody who's in this position will tell you the same story. So to get that out, and even just if you're saving one life out of this here, it's worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's so important that I'm determined to do that, even though it's still very raw. I'm determined to get up there and talk from my experience, and let people know who Noah was. Same with Debbie and same with Marie. Who our relatives were and how important they were to us, and how much of an impact, a bad impact it's had in our lives and our family and friends.
And that's admirable. I was speaking to Rosina Doherty there about cancer services just before the news at 11, and that people like yourselves are taking this on board. You have lost someone, but you feel now, as Eamon, you said, it's in memory of Noah, but you know, you feel like you have a responsibility, Marie, say yourself, that you need to help other people, and you've went through this and you know what it's like.
Yeah, no, most certainly. Like that is my plan now, is to be there as a support for people that's going to go through this, or even bereaved families that are listening now. It's the aftermath of this. As time goes on, the world moves on, but you're stuck in it.
And this is something, there's no time limit. People can come for as long as they need.
Yeah.
And there's also an element of this as well about raising awareness of sharing crash scene images. We have a policy here that we don't share any images of crime scenes, nothing that would identify anybody, and we don't name any victims until, say, an obituary comes in or we get it confirmed from a reliable source. And this is something I think is so important, because say even like the Creeslaw tragedy, informing people of such devastating news, you know, whenever they haven't been told by a family. Is this something any of you have been affected by?
Well, this is something one of our family members, Marie O'Brien, is launching a campaign, and it's called It's Not Your Story to Tell. And this is really to raise awareness of the impact that when you share that photograph, whether that's of a crash scene, whether it is a video of what is happening, the potential damage that you are doing to other people who are stumbling across that. And as we know, when we put something out there, we can't take it back.
Yeah.
And, you know, that can be so traumatic for families. Personally, I have had, you know, family members in front of me who have a lasting image of the car that their son or daughter was travelling in.
And it's
then
such a tough time as it is. They don't need to remember that.
Totally. And when they're seeing that image, then their mind is playing overtime with that image. And what they're doing is they're causing unnecessary trauma, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so that campaign is being launched next Wednesday night in Cookstown, but it will be launched in Donegal on Thursday as well.
Yeah. So Debbie, give me the details again of the launch. It's next Thursday at the Silver Tassie.
Yes, so next Thursday evening from 7 to 9 in the Silver Tassie. We do want to say a huge thank you to Silver Tassie, who are hosting us on the night, and also the Greenvale Hotel in Cookstown, because without their generosity we wouldn't be able to do this. So we are very, very delighted for that. But, you know, this is a launch. It's an open meeting. We would like people to give us an idea if they are coming along, just so that we can make sure we have enough teas and coffees to go around. But it's going to be a very informative and impactful evening, and I would encourage as many people in Donegal to come forward to that meeting, because there's a takeaway for every single one of us, the road user.
Yeah. You know. And this is just the start as well. And anybody interested, you have social media presence as well. Anybody can get in touch there. Well, we wish you all well with the launch. Thank you all for joining me in studio this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more just after this short break.
It's the holiday of a lifetime, Highland in the Sun 2025. This September 14th to the 21st, we go back to the stunning 4-star Sol Costa Gerada Hotel Saloon for 7 nights dinner, bed and breakfast and lots of great entertainment with some of your favourite acts in Irish country music. Don't delay and book today by contacting Country Music Tours on 074 9119 955 or email info@countrymusictours.ie. Don't miss out on the holiday of a lifetime.
Every Irish person knows there's nothing quite as powerful as a good cup of tea. So on May 1st this year, please join the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland's Tea Day and help provide vital care and services for those living with dementia and their families. Sign up today at teaday.ie.
Ready to transform your smile? Discover the magic of Blue Poppy Dental in Letterkenny and Donegal Town. With implantologists, surgical and cosmetic dentists, orthodontists and an endodontist all under one roof, we've got all your dental needs covered. Starting your journey is easy. Call us on 074 91 20355 or book your appointment online anytime through our user-friendly patient portal at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, where smiles shine brighter.
Cut your business energy costs with cost.ie. We compare top electricity suppliers to find you the best rates, saving you time and money. Simple, fast and hassle-free. Switch today. Call Paul on 086 198 3894.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time is exactly 20 past 11 here on Highland Radio. Having a look now to some of your comments. I can't stand Conor McGregor, but he's saying what the Irish people are thinking. In Germany, the far right have taken a rise. A similar situation will happen in Ireland. Another says, not a fan of Conor McGregor, but have to agree with him. Ireland needs to shut up about Ukraine and Israel and realise we need America's businesses here. I doubt Ukraine or Palestinian people would have any interest in Ireland if we were bankrupt. Why is no one saying that McGregor is guilty of rape in a civil court? Is that the sort of person we should have representing our views? I agree with what he says, but how did he get a visa to enter the States? Yeah, we do know in November that he was fined in a civil case that to have sexually assaulted Nikita Hand, who accused him of rape in a Dublin hotel in 2018. Another listener says, I have no time for McGregor, but he said what every Irish person thinks. We were talking earlier about underage drivers in parades. A listener says, on Friday in Greencastle, 2 young fellas were handbraking and ripping through the village at school times. Gardaí were on the scene. I was leaving the harbour and he handbraked in front of me. I lost the rag with him. They could hardly see over the steering wheel. I reported him. The car culture is starting out younger and younger. We will have a new generation of people who use cars as weapons. Now, a Health and Wellbeing Conference. I will start that again. So the Donegal County GAA Youth Conference is taking place this weekend. I'm joined now on Zoom by Cora Harvey, who is the chairperson of the Donegal GAA Health and Wellbeing Committee and Assistant Director of Nursing in the HSC. Good morning to you, Cora.
Hi, Michaela. How you doing?
All good. So, Cora, this is taking place off the back of a survey that has been carried out. What are the kind of issues that have been highlighted?
Okay, Michaela. So back just before Christmas, the Health and Wellbeing Committee got together and we released a survey that went out to all the clubs and communities, and multiple topics came back, but we then arranged them into 4 main themes based on the feedback. So we've categorised them under drugs and alcohol, gambling, mental health, and then optimising, performance. So the feedback would have come in, from individuals, from clubs, from young people, maybe naming very specifically issues like anxiety, issues around maybe consent, self-harm, managing stress, multiple things. But so we would have arranged them into those main subheadings to try and get, I suppose, a framework for the day and to get the workshops in place to cover the collective themes. So we did partner with the ATU, and the ATU is a strong partner with the GA anyhow, and with the HSE. So we're working with the ATU, and that's where the conference is taking place. And the ATU is going to put on a workshop for us on optimizing, physical fitness and optimizing performance. The HSE will come in and do a piece of work around drugs and alcohol. And we've partnered with Gambling with Lives, who are coming up to do a piece on gambling. And then Jigsaw is working with us, and they will provide the workshop on mental health, which will cover anxiety and multiple, themes that comes in under mental health.
And these kind of events are essential. It's aimed at 15 to 18-year-olds. So it's important that they know. We know social media is such a massive thing now. We know we can Google anything we need, but having these resources at your fingertips or knowing exactly where to go in a moment of crisis. You mentioned their anxiety, consent, stress, and gambling, that being able to just go straight to that resource is vital.
Oh, absolutely. And look, we would find, I suppose over the years that often clubs can be a bit, reactive, and communities will be as well. So if something happens or an adverse event happens, communities, clubs, they reach out for that wee bit of support in times of crisis. And that is absolutely okay. But what we want is, clubs to be a bit more proactive, to get, I suppose, the tools into the bag of themselves and also of the young people, so that they know where to go, they know how to reach out to. So on the day there will be information stands as well, but most importantly, it's what they're going to take away from the event, And I suppose in one way too, we want to, let the young people know that it's not just all about the sport. Of course, it's a vital part, but it's about the connection, it's about the games, it's about the fun, but it's also about that community element and knowing where to go in times of crisis, or when they are struggling a bit, if they can turn to a coach, or if they can turn to a committee member, that the clubs will know where to go to get that support. And Saturday will be a vital cog in that wheel for information for clubs and for club volunteers. Another element, Michaela, that we wanted to touch on Saturday as well is the One Punch Can Kill campaign, which is a campaign that is very much encouraged and promoted by Ulster GA at the minute. This isn't a new initiative. It's been around quite a while, but it's getting more prominence now with, I suppose, the realisation that it doesn't matter if an incident happens on the pitch or off the pitch or on a night out. Often people getting involved in these situations don't intend for massive consequences, but it can be a huge consequence on their lives and on the lives of the victims or the perpetrator. So Ulster GA is coming up on the day to do a talk around the One Punch Can Kill campaign for the adults who attend, and they can bring that information back to the club. So it's going to be a really inclusive kind of informative day, and I would really encourage the clubs to sign up, to either select 4 young people that they feel will, that could come back and be maybe a youth ambassador into their club, and maybe young people that can share the information, but also they'll just benefit from it themselves with the connection and meeting other clubs as well from the county. And the lineup is quite good, and the facilitators we have, I mean, they're all like practitioners, they know what they're talking about. It's just, good positive information sharing and something that they can learn and take away with them.
And I suppose it's creating a normality around these issues as well. I know Rory O'Connor from Rory's Stories, many will know him, is going to be there, and he's been such an advocate for mental health and speaks so openly about his struggles. And to see an influencer, if we can use that term in this case, like that, speaking out, it's that normality that these young people growing up in society today, that they see everybody is affected at some stage in their life, and it's normal to go through this, and then pushing them then to speak out and contact say the people that say like Jigsaw, the HSC, in different scenarios, then the Northwest Alcohol and Drug Task Force, to contact them and know that there is help there, and it's normal to reach out for that help.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I suppose it's normal that we all will go through some period of adversity in our life and face some problems, so that happens. That's a fact of life. But you're so right. It's also to make it a fact of life that we can reach out and ask for support. And I mean, having Rory Stories there, look, it's great that he's coming. He was very keen to get involved once we contacted him. I mean, he has his own personal story, and he is an influencer, and he can have the fun, and he can engage an audience. So, he will bring something very positive, and we're looking looking forward to having him join us on the day, because he can bring a bit of both into Michaela, and that's so important, so he can reach out into that audience as well, via his own social media platforms, or simply being present there on the day and sharing his story and encouraging young people to kind of, to reach out and also to speak out, which is hugely important.
And it's not, I remember going from school to like different things like this, and you would just go, it's a day out. But seeing people like Rory there, he's not preaching to people. This is done then in a way of, it's a casual thing then. I'm telling my story. It's not like somebody preaching, you need to do this. And, kind of people do switch off then when it comes to that. So this is a different approach.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he can talk it through his own words, and he can talk with his own experience. He can also have the fun with them, and then so he'll set the scene for us in the morning. We're going to have Rory on almost first thing, so he can come and set the scene. And then we will, divert the young people into the different workshops that's available. So they will go in then from him straight into a mental health workshop, straight into drugs and alcohol, and straight into gambling masterclass then. And Rory will touch on all of those subjects together, and then branch out into the different workshops. But we've set the day in such a way that every young person there will attend all of the workshops. So we'll break them up into groups, and then the adult volunteers can come in and out as they choose. But I'd also encourage them to go to the Ulster GA workshop that's on parallel to it. So it's going to be a nice kind of a format of the day. The fact that he'll touch on those subjects, he'll touch on his own personal experience. He'll have a bit of fun with them, and then we'll put on out into the workshops. And the workshops, they're not preachy type either. People can. It'll be interactive. They'll take, most importantly, they'll take information away with them. They'll take phone numbers away with them, and they can share that then amongst their own clubs. So that's how we designed it, because look, I suppose we have to be audience appropriate. That's why we're working with the ATU.
Yeah.
That's why we're working with Jigsaw. That's why we're working with the task force. We know our audience base, and we have to use language that's appropriate, and also the right amount of information that's needed for that age group is so important.
And is this tailored annually, or are the same kind of issues coming up for yourselves?
The same issues are coming up for the past couple of years now, but 2 years ago we focused more on inclusion and in elderly. This year we decided, well, towards the end of last year, we decided that we would just reach back into the clubs again to see what issues are coming up from them. Look, we kind of know from the individual contact the clubs will make to us as a health and wellbeing committee to deliver alcohol and drug workshops, to deliver gambling workshops. So we know these are the prevalent issues. So by doing this event, we're reaching out first. So we're going to provide the information, provide the workshops, and let the clubs come to us, as opposed to them kind of having to host individual workshops. Now, they can still do that after the event. They might come up and say, listen, do you know what? You see that workshop in gambling? How can I get that into my club and roll it out to the wider community? And that's an important point to stress, because through the Northwest Alcohol and Drug Task Force and Social Inclusion in the HSE, we're working with them in terms of doing a gambling awareness training and education piece post the event. So we'll be launching that on the day, so clubs can then roll out their own initiative. And the task force and social inclusion will look at a small bursary for clubs to be able to do that. So there's going to be an after piece, which is great, because it means that when the conference finishes on Saturday evening, there's other doors opening then for clubs to continue the work that was started on Saturday.
And that gambling element is so important. We've seen so many GAA players right across the country speaking out that they've had issues with gambling, and they're young men as well. So it is important, targeting, I've said this all day in so many topics, but targeting the younger people and that early intervention is vital.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's so easy at the minute, with mobile phones and a click of a button. And, people can just get embroiled into that gambling lifestyle before they know it. And then for long enough, people don't see it as an issue, but it can creep up and hit with a bang that, that early intervention, that education piece, just to be aware, to realize that how easy this can creep up. It's so, so important. And you're right, you hear numerous, GA players, other sports personalities, how easy they can get, entrapped into it. So for us, it's important that, look, if you're going to, make that bet, if you're going to kind of, follow a certain sport and put on bets, that you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to, protect yourself in the middle of the process. There has to be safety nets in place, because I'll tell you, the gambling industry isn't going to save them.
No.
So we have to do what we can to try and put that prevention and education piece in place. And this isn't solely the responsibility, of the HSE or of the GA. This is everyone's responsibility. But all we're doing is, I suppose, using the GA as a platform to reach out, because it's so, GA is relevant and evidenced in every community, so it's a good sporting organisation to be able to reach into those communities, and the HSE, see that and appreciate that, as do the task force and the ATU. So it's a great opportunity for all the partners to come together to do what they can to tackle a problem that really is everyone's business.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cora, thank you so much for joining us this morning with all that information, and there's still places available there, so people can come along on a Saturday. So that is the chairperson of the Donegal GAA Health and Wellbeing Committee and Assistant Director of Nursing in the HSE, Cora Harvey. We'll be back with lots more of your comments just after this short break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
For strong, unique, weather-resistant homes, choose Cedral Exteriors. Our fibre cement roof slates and wall cladding ranges are built to last for generations, exceeding EU quality standards. Members of Guaranteed Irish, our products are locally made and beautifully designed, offering long-term peace of mind. Visit cedral.ie. Cedral Exteriors. Strength guaranteed.
Shannon Airport has officially been voted Ireland's favourite airport.
Which was great to hear. We've always thought we had handy parking, short queues, great people and smooth security. It's just nice to know everyone agrees. Officially Ireland's favourite airport. Shannon Airport, making it easy.
Hoka, the brand that has changed running shoes at Brian McCormick Sports. The ultra-cushioned game changer, Bondi 9, will give you a soft and bouncy transition from heel to toe. Enjoy the increased stack height with a new premium midsole. Look the part, play the part. In-store and online. Click on bmcsports.ie.
Hello, this is Robert Mazzell. Myself and the band are celebrating 25 years on the road. We're coming to the Alley Theatre on the 4th of April to celebrate our 25th anniversary. If you'd like some tickets, go to alleytheatre.com. Come and hear some of the old songs you love and some of the new ones as well. That's the alleytheatre.com. The 4th of April. We'll see you there.
Hi, ma'am. Yeah, we've hit the road. Should be there in about an hour. They're so excited to see you. Everyone, say hi to Granny.
With up to 7 seats, the all-new Volkswagen Tayron has more space for families of all shapes and sizes and breeds. Also available as plug-in hybrid. Search Volkswagen Tayron or visit your local dealer.
George, I told you to go before we left.
Volkswagen.
Order your 251 with Connolly's Volkswagen Letterkenny. See connolly's.ie.
Welcome back to the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. Looking now to some of your comments. How could we get the like of them people to go and talk at places like sports clubs and nightclubs? Because I think if young people heard first hand from people that are affected by crashes and fast and carelessness on the roads, it would have an impact. That relates to our chat a short time ago with the group that's being launched here on Thursday, the Road Victim Support Northern Ireland and Donegal group. They did say they were speaking about that they do go out to schools, and that they said the feedback from visits like that has been very positive. Well done to this group, a great initiative. Are this group aware of IRVA, of which I am an associate member? IRVA is based in Mullingar and is international. It's organised for approximately 18 years and they are a support group as well. Rosina, I will get in to join you tomorrow is the message that relates to a protest that Rosina Doherty, who Greg has spoken to on the show numerous times. She's holding a protest outside Letterkenny University Hospital tomorrow from 9 a.m. until about 3 p.m. and it's in relation to an upgrade of cancer services there at the hospital. I'm joined now on the line by James. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
So what is your story, James?
Sorry, I'm a wee bit deaf, you know. Go ahead.
You're okay. So you were in a drowning accident?
Yeah, I was in a drowning accident way back 50 years ago. my brother and myself, and my brother was drowned. He was 21 and I was 19. And listening to the support group there, just, I can understand where they're coming from, but it's a long number of years since I heard anybody talking about it, because I have went through that drowning accident still go through it the nearly 50 years, and no support whatsoever. There was 5 years in my life that I walked about. I didn't know hardly who I was, because it was day after day going through my head about what happened and all, and there was nobody to talk to whatsoever, and you could understand how my mother and father felt I couldn't speak to them either, and they couldn't speak to me, and it was awful. But now as the years went past, I can talk about it, but still it's on my head night after night after day. I can go through. I can go through the whole thing from beginning to start, and that's nearly 50 years past, and it still goes through my head.
And James, did you have any support at all? Did you seek any counselling services, or you feel that adequate ones weren't available?
There was no counselling, or nobody ever came to ask me, was I all right or was I all wrong? Nobody. I had to go through it myself, and that, as I say, it was more than awful, and I can understand a lot of people still out there, those support people there saying they're 6 or 9 years, but I say 50 years ago, it's a long time, and it was completely different altogether, and it doesn't matter what the situation is, it's still as bad. We talk about car accidents and all, we talk about drowning, we talk about cancer and people dying and all, there's a lot of traumatic stuff out there, and there's very little support to anybody, that's my honest opinion. The only thing I can say now, people's a wee bit more openly, and there is people out there, good people, that I'll try and talk to you and try and, help you in their ways, your friends and that, but years ago there were nothing, and I hope that support group helps a lot, because definitely I can say there's a lot of people out there crying out for help.
And your situation as well was so different. Not only did you lose your brother, sadly, but you were there in that incident as well, and that's very different and very traumatizing.
Yeah, I was what he called now, and that brother of mine, God rest him, he was drowned, but I could not even go on near that room where he was at. I never ever seen him when he passed away, because I couldn't even go onto the coffin and look at him. I was so traumatized. That's how bad I was. And I just tried to go on and knowing who he was and what he looked like,
Yeah,
before
remember
he
him
was
as
burned.
he was,
Yeah, that's the way I tried to carry on with it, but no, nobody ever what he called, I can honestly say, I was taken to the hospital, but a priest came in for a couple of minutes and away again, and that was it. you know, at the end of the day. But as I say, time's getting better, but like as I say, the accidents in the cars is not getting any better, you know.
So do you believe that there should be a process in place that in a fatal incident, say your brother drowning, and we know about the fatal crashes, that there should be a process in place where, say, a bereavement counsellor is assigned immediately in the aftermath?
Yeah, it should be, certainly so. No, especially after that, you know, the person or persons that's dead, there should be somebody be able to come and contact the family and try and talk to the family, and you know, definitely so, and it would help a lot. You know, it's like everything else. You know, there is people. You could open your mouth today, and you could get on with that person. You know, and you could open up to that person. You know, and like as I say, it would be a massive help. You know. At the end of the day, you know, like as I say, it's tragic what's going on. But like, that doesn't seem to matter. Like, I have seen young people killed down here and my roads and all, and I see about a week after, you couldn't cross the road. They're still going that hard. It doesn't seem to get through to them, you know. So that's really all that I can say about it, you know. But like, I know there should be some kind of support for the grieving family, you know. So if this is any good to anybody, I would say to them, reach out and look for a bit of support, because the support will help, you know. Definitely will.
And James, would you consider anything now yourself?
Sorry?
Would you consider seeking support now? I know it's years on, but...
Yeah, I can tell my story, like, no problem now at all. You know, like years, I say for those 5 years, I couldn't open my mouth about nothing. You know, I wasn't a trans, you know, but like nowadays I can sit and talk to you all day about it, you know, and you know, I leave down the phone, like I can see my brother sitting here now beside me, you know, and like no, that doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really hurt anymore, or I'm not traumatized anymore, you know. That's the time, certainly so. They always say it's a good thing, time heals. And like, it does heal, but it never ever goes away, you know. It definitely never ever goes away, you know, because like I've lost my mother and my father, and, you know, like night after night, like I can see them, you know, no problem. And, you know, I would say a wee prayer for them an odd night, you know, and, you know, as I say, my mother died when she was 60 and she had cancer, and I took her to St Luke's Hospital in Dublin, and I brought her out of St Luke's Hospital, and, you know, I couldn't even see a doctor. My sister, I went down for her to St Luke's in Dublin, and only could get a nurse. And I asked the nurse, is there anything we should be worried about? And all the nurse says, she says if she was my mother, she would be worried about her.
Yeah.
A week or so, my mother died in Letterkenny Hospital, you know, and I visited that hospital there 3 or 4 years ago. I had thyroid gland, had cancer, and what they called, I was even up in the place where she died, you know, or where she was up in the ward, you know. I went walking about, you know, you could do your own thing up there for
all those
a few
memories.
days I was in, you know. Yeah. So I went up and I was in the room where she was at. But like, God, things has moved on a while lot, I have to say.
Well, James, that's
I remember
a very important message you're sharing with us today, for people to seek support. And thanks so much for calling in. It was great to chat to you. And take care of yourself.
Right, that's fine. Thank you. I just wanted to get that through, you know.
Yeah, no, it's very, very important, and it's great to get the first hand. You've experienced it firsthand, and the need for support, and very important there, as James said, to reach out. There's so many so much support available for people affected by loss in so many different scenarios. We'll be talking about World Recycling Day just after this short break.
Discover Centra Simple Savers, your go-to for great everyday value. Like Caro Miko pizzas, any 2 for €12. Coca-Cola 12-can packs, €6 each plus deposit. And King and Tato crisps 12 packs, €3 each. Enjoy easy, simple prices weekly on your favourite products. Centra. Live every day.
Check out the Dynamo range at Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, featuring all new Donegal GAA jackets, bottoms and half zips, designed for comfort and style. Gear up for the season with the official O'Neill's Donegal GAA training jersey, available in navy or green. Free next day delivery on orders over €85 at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Want to keep your brain and eyes at their best? Try Remind, the super strength omega-3 supplement backed by Irish science. Remind's unique formula with carotenoids and 900 milligrams of omega-3s delivers essential nutrients for brain and vision health. And to see how your nutrient levels measure up, try the Life Meter scan, available this April at Healthwise pharmacies. In just 1 minute, a quick fingertip scan provides valuable health insights. Book your free Life Meter test and support your brain and eyes with Remind.
Want a new car? Think Kia. Call Heron Auto Donegal Town on 074 9722 555. We're excited to offer a fantastic selection of self-charge and plug-in hybrid cars, along with petrol and electric cars. With finance rates starting from an incredible 0% APR and a 7-year warranty, you can drive away today with peace of mind. Call Heron Auto to find your perfect vehicle and experience our commitment to excellence. Drive with confidence. Drive with Heron Auto Donegal Town.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Discover trending new styles each week in fashion, footwear, accessories, homeware and more. Visit us to explore the latest arrivals in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
Staying mainly dry today, sunshine will develop through the day, highest temperatures of 7 to 10 degrees. Thanks to everyone for getting in touch today. We've had loads of comments throughout the morning. Don't forget you can call 91 25,000 or text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000. Now today is World Recycling Day, and I'm joined now on the show by Zoe Kavanagh, who is the CEO of Repack. Good morning, Zoe.
Good morning to you and your listeners. Great to have the opportunity to talk to Irish people about waste being a resource and handling it carefully.
Yeah, and it's very important. There has been a recent audit which has showed a staggering 33% of people in Ireland are unaware that just one dirty bottle, tin or container can contaminate a whole recycling bin. Is this something that is one of the main issues you would believe when it comes to recycling, Zoe?
Yeah, we have a real opportunity here in Ireland to improve our recycling performance, starting at home by placing the right packaging material in the correct bin and ensuring that it's clean, loose and dry. So let's start with clean, because that's directly linked to contamination. If we place a dirty object in a recycling bin of material, it can actually spoil the whole bin. So 2 key areas of contamination include food, and we should really be placing all food remains on packaging in a food or organic bin. And then for items that have been containing food, give them a quick rinse so that they're clean, shake them dry, keep them loose. Don't be squashing everything into a container and thinking you're being space efficient. But the challenge is when your bin is collected, your recycling bin is collected outside your house or your place of work, if that is tipped into the sorting centre with something that is dirty and wet, it will contaminate very valuable material, particularly the contamination paper and cardboard. Its chance of being recycled and being reused significantly diminishes when it's contaminated.
So it's not just the bin that the person is using, it's the whole haul of recycling that's been gathered that's being contaminated.
Yeah, well, in particular, the bin, but actually, depending on the severity of the dirty object in the bin, it can really damage valuable material. So there's two key messages for us to consider in Ireland today. Cleaning our packaging waste before putting in the recycling bin, and just taking a minute to pause to say, okay, this is a resource, which bin should I be putting it in? And honestly, if it's clean, loose and dry, place it in your recycling bin. Just to share with your listeners, 25% of the recycling bin contents in Ireland should not be in there. And this is a shocker. 66% of the general waste bin contents should not be in there. So this is a call out to say, let's use our bins correctly. Let's remove contamination from our recycling potential. And look, we're doing great here in Ireland, and our research shows that people want to do the right thing. If they log on to mywaste.ie, there's really good posters that are available there that people can print out for the home place, for the workplace, just to help us all do the right thing every day.
And what kind of items are you seeing? You mentioned there the general waste bin, that 66% of items shouldn't be in there. What kind of items are you finding there?
We're finding a lot of items that could be recycled. So we're finding cardboards, plastics, tins that should not be in the general waste bin. They should be in the recycling bin. And then the other big components that's going into the general waste bin are food-related products, and they should be in the organic bin. And if your listeners are, tuning in today and thinking, I don't have a brown bin or an organic bin, you really should be getting onto your local waste provider and asking for one, because the law is that households should have 3 bins so they can segregate correctly. But they're the two key areas for managing the general waste bin: recycles into the recycling bin and food contaminants into the brown or the organic bin.
And have you seen a positive change in recycling since the rollout of the deposit return scheme?
Yes, the deposit return scheme, which is linked to our sister company called Return, has been a huge success. So we're a year in, and what that has actually done is taken all that beverage, plastic and aluminium, and captured it clean, loose and dry. So it's really high quality and ready for recycling. And the benefits of that have seen Ireland's litter, the plastic component of litter, significantly reduce. The capture of those two valuable materials having a really high value and recyclability. So that's been a positive. And I think what we're seeing in Repack is, because society had to get into a recycling mentality for the deposit return scheme, we're seeing that people are more mindful about recycling their packaging waste. So in Ireland today, we're achieving a 61% recycling rate of packaging waste. Our target is 65%. So we just need to do a bit more to really reach our target, and that's a regulation. And in the area of plastic is quite problematic. We have a 50% recycling target, and we're only at 33%. So we really, really want to use our 3 bins correctly and try and remove contamination, because it's actually us as individuals who can do that.
And are these the same kind of issues you have been seeing over the previous years, or are these new issues emerging, or have they gotten worse?
It's not that they're getting worse. I think perhaps post-COVID, people are less mindful. We saw good performance through COVID. But what we're seeing now is probably people back to busy lives and just not thinking before placing waste in the bins. So I think the prompt of using today as World Recycling Day, plus new targets. So we are operating under a new set of regulations from Europe, and the targets are more ambitious as we strive towards a circular economy. So knowing that we have to do better is encouraging us here at Repack to try and do more in the area of education and support. So I really would finish off by encouraging people either to go on to repack.ie or mywaste.ie and download those really helpful resources, either for a classroom, for a household, or for a workplace, to help us put our waste in the right place.
Zoe Kavanagh, CEO of Repack, thank you so much for joining us on World Recycling Day. Well, that's it for the 9 till noon show for this morning. John Breslin is up next on Around the Northwest. Thank you so much to Caroline Orr and to Shannon Wilkin for all their help and for producing today. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 9.
If you need an eye test, look no further than Louis Walsh